Give praise, esteem, and honor to the Most High Yah. In the name of Yahushua HaMashiach, John 5:39. Search the scriptures, for in them you think you have eternal life, and they are they which testify of me. And you not come to me that you might have life. I receive not honor from men, shalom. But I know you that you have not the love of Elohim in you. I come in my Abba's name, and you receive me not. If another shall come in his own name, him you will receive. How can you believe which receive honor one of another, and seek not the honor that comes from Elohim only? Do not think that I will accuse you. The Abba, there is one that accused you, even Moses, in whom you trust. Had you believed Moses, you would have believed me, for he wrote of me. But if you believe not his writings, how shall you believe my words? Shalom, Brother Dennis. 1 Kings chapter 2 and verse 1. What's going on, Monte? Now the days of David drew nigh that he should die, and he charged Solomon his son, saying, I go the way of all the earth. Be thou strong, therefore, and show thyself a man. And keep the charge of Yahuwah thy Elohim, to walk in his ways, to keep his statutes and his commandments and his judgments and his testimonies, as is written in the Torah of Moses, that thou may prosper in all that thou do, whichever way you turn yourself. So, let's take a look at John chapter 5. Well, actually, I wanted to continue what we had going on from that one there, so hold on. Acts chapter 24. Just talking about somebody being courageous is what we were discussing. Acts 24:1. Let's look at a little bit of Paul's foray into some of the things that he had to show courage in for before we slide on to the next thing. Very well then. And after 5 days, Ananias the high priest descended with the elders and with a certain orator named Tertullus, who informed the governor against Paul. And he was called forth. Tertullus began to accuse him, saying that by thee we enjoy great quietness, and that very worthy deeds are done unto this nation by thy providence. We accept it always in all places, most noble Felix, with all thankfulness. Notwithstanding that I be not further tedious unto thee, I pray thee that thou wilt hear us of thy clemency a few words. We have found this man a pestilent fellow, and a mover of sedation among all Yahudim throughout the world, and a ringleader of the sect of the Nazarenes. So they basically said that this man's trying to cause, insurrection. So let's see how Paul responds to these accusations going forth. There's a couple more before I move on to the next thing. Well, it's about 3 of them. They're going to all flow back to back, truth be told. And it might be missing 23 when they get on his head then. Yeah. We'll go backwards and get all that there because he went through a lot. Remember when we talked about that spot where he was talking about when he was locked up still preaching the word with no fear. And he locked up right now. He said, who've also gone about to profane the temple, whom we took and would have judged according to our Torah. But the chief captain of the citizens came upon us with great violence, took him away out of our hands, commanding his accusers to come unto thee by examining of whom thyself make take knowledge of all the things whereof we accuse him. The Yahudim also assented, saying that these things were so. Then Paul, after the governor had beckoned unto him, answered, for as much as I know that there has been many years a judge unto this nation, I do more cheerfully answer for myself, because thou may understand that there be but 12 days since I went up to Jerusalem to worship, and they neither found me in the temple disputing with any man, neither raising up the people, neither in the synagogues nor in the city. Neither can they prove the things whereof they now accuse me. But this I confess unto thee, that after the way which they call heresy, so worship I the Elohim of my fathers, believing all things which were written in the Torah and in the prophets, and have hope towards Elohim, which they themselves also allow, that there shall be a resurrection of the dead, both of the just and the unjust. And herein I do exercise myself to always have a conscience void of offense towards Elohim and towards man. So we look at the statement, what he just made. These people are accusing him of basically trying to cause a sedation because of what we read, what they did to Peter them in Acts chapter 4 about preaching in the name of this man. They didn't care for that. They didn't like that. He stood up for it. And he stood up for it. He was courageous for one reason. Well, two reasons, really. One, because he believed in the word, and two, because he knows who he is in the word. And that's knowing who you are in Yahuwah. A lot of people don't have the courage to be able to stand up because they don't know who they are in this man. That's what a lot of people, men problem is, period. You don't know who you are. 9 times out of 10, you don't know who you are because you're not honest with yourself. John chapter 5, verse 14. To be able to know who you are as a man, it takes honest self-awareness, introspection, and honesty. Knowing what your values are, knowing what your limitations are, knowing what your strengths are, knowing what's important to you, knowing what's not important to you. Make it 5 and 8, actually, 7, actually. Or make it 6. When Yahushua saw him lie and knew that he had now a long time in that case, hereupon unto him, thou be made whole. The impotent man answered him, Sir, I have no man when the water is troubled to put me in the pool. But while I'm coming, another step down before me. Yahushua said unto him, Rise and take up thy bed and walk. Immediately the man was made whole and took up his bed and walked. And on the same day was Shabbat. And Yahudim therefore said unto him that was cured, It is Shabbat. It's not lawful to carry thy bed. He answered them, He that made me whole, the same said unto me, Take up your bed and walk. They asked him, What man is that which said unto thee, Take up your bed and walk? He that was healed was not who it was, for Yahushua conveyed himself away, a multitude being in that place. Afterwards Yahushua find him in the temple, and said unto him, Behold, thou art made whole, sin no more, lest a worse thing come unto thee. The man departed and told the Yahudim it was Yahushua which made him whole. And therefore did the Yahudim persecute Yahushua and sought to slay him, because he done these things on the Shabbat. Now, where do we read this here for the context of what he about to say? Now, when you see what he about to say, he going to let you know that he knows who he is, and also the courageousness and boldness to tell these people what he had to tell them. 5 and 17. And the reason why I'm mentioning this here, because Paul just made mention that he believed in the resurrection of the dead, of the just and the unjust. In order to believe the resurrection is because you got to know who you are in Elohim to even know a resurrection is coming. See, you can say you believe in a resurrection, but if you know where your place is in him, then that's a foregone conclusion. That's a certain certainty. It's a certain certainty. But Yahushua answered them, My Abba work here too, and I work. Therefore the Yahudim sought more to kill him, because he not only broke Shabbat, but said also that Elohim was his Abba, making himself equal with Elohim. Pause. Let's take something. Bring. Yeah, goodbye. Something to your memory. Ezekiel. What it is, 28. Ezekiel 28 and 3. Behold, thou art wiser than Daniel. There is no secret that they can hide from thee. With thy wisdom and with thy understanding, thou hast gotten thee riches, and hast gotten gold and silver into thy treasures. But by thy great wisdom and by thy traffic, thou hast increased thy riches. Thy heart is lifted up because of thy riches. Therefore, thus saith Yahuwah Elohim, because thou hast set thy heart as the heart of Elohim. Behold, therefore, I will bring strangers upon thee, the terrible of the nations, and they shall draw their swords against the beauty of thy wisdom, and they shall defile thy brightness. Now, you know, so a lot of individuals think that this chapter talking about Satan, but we know full well Satan ain't wiser than Daniel, nor did strangers come and defile him. Again. Let's take a look at and continue. What do I want to take on this one here, right? John chapter 18. This whole Ezekiel 28. John chapter 18, verse 28. Then led they Yahushua from Capheus unto the hall of judgment, and it was early. And they themselves went not into the judgment hall, lest they should be defiled, that they may eat the Passover. Pilate then went out unto them and said, What accusation bring you against this man? They answered and said unto him, If he were not a malefactor, we would have not delivered him up unto thee. It's the same thing they were saying about Paul. He's a pestilent fellow. See, this is the thing you got to look at. Ain't nobody saying nobody is a pestilent individual or, what's the word I'm looking for? A malefactor, because you know you're an Israelite. Did any of y'all see the clip of them messing with that white boy with that hat on? That put them, that why they had the Israelites in 3 national newspapers. Did you see the clip? I seen the clip. It all started because there was a little white boy with a MAGA hat on messing with a Native American. So they made an issue about that, but then they showed more that this was something going on at the Lincoln Memorial for Native American Sunday. But you know, boys, Zabak's crew, man, the House of Israel, they was out there, you know, doing what it is that they do. You know, and they were telling them white folks they were devils and that Native Americans are the tribe of Gad and Reuben and this, that, there, and the third. They even did a whole spread article on one gentleman who happened to be out there. But that's why a lot of them feel like, oh, the persecution coming now because they put us in the paper. But if you actually read the articles weren't disrespectful. They just say, hey, these people believe something totally different than the norm. And this is what they were out there saying. But ain't nobody saying you causing. When you look at what Paul got brought up on charges for, it was preaching the gospel. That's what he got brought up on charges for. Matter of fact, Paul, look at something they said in Romans 16. Acts 16. This junk always tripped me out from the first time I read it. Because these are harsh words. Romans 16 and 16 is sufficient. Acts 16 and 16. Acts 16 and 16. It came to pass as we went to prayer, a certain damsel possessed with a ruach of divination met us, which brought her masters much gain by soothsaying. The same followed Paul and us and cried, saying, These men are the servants of the Most High Elohim, which show unto us the way of salvation. And this did she many days, but Paul, being grieved, turned and said to the same ruach, I command thee in the name of Yahushua HaMashiach to come out of her. And he came out the same hour. And when her master saw the hope of their gains was gone, they caught Paul and Silas and drew them into the marketplace unto the rulers, and brought them to the magistrate, saying, These men, being Yahudim, do exceedingly trouble our city, teaching customs which were not lawful for us to receive, neither observe, being Romans. And the multitude rose up together against them, and the magistrate rent off their clothes and commanded to beat them. And when they laid many stripes upon them, they cast them into the prison, charging the jailer to keep them safely. Who having received such a charge, thrust them into the inner prison, and made their feast fast in the stocks. At midnight, Paul and Silas prayed and sang praises unto Elohim, and the prisoners heard them. Suddenly there was a great earthquake, so that the foundations of the prison were shaken, and immediately all the doors were opened, and everyone's bands were loosed. And the keeper of the prison, awakened out of his sleep, seeing the prison doors open, he drew out his sword and would have killed himself, supposing that the prisoners had been fled. But Paul cried with a loud voice, saying, Do thyself no harm, for we are all here. Now, hold on. Then he called for a light and sprang in and came trembling and fell down before Paul and Silas. And he brought them out and said, Sir, what must I do to be saved? And they said, Believe on the Lord Yahushua HaMashiach, and thou shalt be saved, and thy house. Then they spake unto him the word of the Lord, and to all that were in his house. And he took them the same hour of that night, and washed their stripes, and was immersed, he and all his, straightway. Now, what were they locked up for? What did they lock them up for? What did they lock them up for? Not only that, casting out unclean. See, pause. Come over here to Mark chapter 16. Mark chapter 16, verse 14. Afterwards he appeared unto the 11 as they sat at meat, and upbraided them with their unbelief and hardness of heart, because they believed not them which had seen him after he was risen. And he said unto them, Go into all the world and preach the gospel to every creature. He that believe and is immersed shall be saved, but he that believe not shall be damned. And these signs shall follow them that believe. In my name shall they cast out devils. They shall speak with new tongues. And they shall take up serpents. And if they drink any deadly thing, it shall not hurt them. They shall lay hands on the sick, and they shall recover. So that after the Lord had spoken unto them, he was received up into Shamahim, and sat on the right hand of Elohim. And they went forth and preached everywhere, the Lord working with them, confirming the word with signs following. Amen. So when you see that he doing this here, they confirming that Yahushua sent them when they casting out these spirits. All these people were concerned with was the money they were going to lose. Then on top of that, they say y'all teaching stuff we ain't got no business hearing. It's not lawful for us to observe this. Let me toss them into prison. But you notice, what did they do when they was in prison? What they did, Alicia, when they was in prison?
Sing songs and praise.
How many people be willing to do that? Most niggas gonna whine and cry because you're locked up. I done got locked up for this. You ain't gonna be willing to take that. And then after they did that and y'all freed them from the prison, it was for the whole purpose to get that jailer to be saved. Because as soon as he seen what happened, it wasn't no doubt in his mind. But it take confidence to know who you are in Yahuwah for you to be able to sit in there and sing praises while you've been incarcerated for doing what you've been sent to do. Back to John chapter 5. Oh no, Ezekiel 28, my bad. Let me work the rest of that Ezekiel 28. When you look at what he told you, he said that this man is wiser than Daniel. They can't hide no secrets. And that the wisdom and understanding that he has is going to increase his riches and his treasures. And because he made himself as Elohim, that this man would be defiled and destroyed by strangers. Come on back to John 18. And 29. Pilate went out unto them and said, What accusation bring ye against this man? They answered and said unto him, If he were not a malefactor, we would not delivered him up unto thee. Then said Pilate unto them, Take you him and judge him according to your Torah. The Yahudim therefore said unto him, It is not lawful for us to put any man to death. That the saying of Yahushua might be fulfilled, which he spake, signifying what death he should die. What is this saying that he spoke, signifying what death he should die? What is that saying? Well, let's go and look. Matthew 20 and 17. Matthew chapter 20 and 17. And Yahushua going up to Jerusalem took the 12 disciples apart in the way and said unto them, Behold, we go up to Jerusalem, and the Son of Man shall be betrayed unto the chief priests and unto the scribes, and they shall condemn him to death, and shall deliver him to the Gentiles, to mock, and to scourge, and to crucify him. And the third day he'll rise again. This is what Ezekiel telling this falling in straight saying, Satan wasn't finna fall into no hands of no stranger. Satan didn't fall into the hands of anyone. So when you look at this here, it take the courage for him to stand up, say some of the things that he spoke, but also knowing who he is and being solidified in that cause. Let's go back to John chapter 5 now and look at him as he starts to begin to bear witness. You need to focus on what you're doing and stop worrying about them chips. That's your problem. You worry about everything going on around you except what you're supposed to be focusing on. And there's no excuse for it. John 5:17. But Yahushua answered them, my Abba work here too, and I work. Fix your clothes. Fix your clothes. Thank you. Therefore the Yahudim sought more to kill him, because he not only broke Shabbat, but said also that Elohim was his Abba, making himself equal with Elohim. Then answered Yahushua and said unto them, truly, truly I say unto you, the Son could do nothing of himself, but what he see his Father do. For whatso things soever he do, the Son also do likewise. The Father loved the Son, and show him all things that he himself do. He will show him greater works than these, that you may marvel. For as the Father raised up the dead and quickened them, even so the Son quickened whom he will. For Father judged no man, he committed all judgment unto the Son, that all men should honor the Son, even as they honor the Father. He that honor not the Son, honor not the Father which hath sent him. Truly I say unto you, he that hear my word, and believe on him that sent me, have everlasting life, and shall not come into condemnation, but is passed from death unto life. Truly I say unto you, the hour is coming, and now is, that the dead shall hear the voice of the Son of Elohim, and they that hear shall live. For as the Father hath life in himself, so he given the Son to have life in himself, and have given him authority to execute judgment, because he is also the Son of Man. Marvel not at this, the hour is coming, and in which all that are in the grave shall hear his voice, and they shall come forth, they that have done good unto the resurrection of life, and they that have done evil unto the resurrection of damnation. This is what Paul said he had hope in. There was a resurrection of the just or the unjust in the midst of him being incarcerated and people coming at him. These people ready to kill Yahushua, and one because he done healed a man on the Shabbat and made himself equal with Elohim. Yet he still stood in front of these people and told them exactly what needed to be said, with no fear, with all boldness and courage. See, it's real easy to say something when you know you're not going to get no opposition. It's real easy to do stuff. It's like this here, right? Everybody want to do stuff and think everything going to be smooth and ain't going to be no adversity. That's why when they face adversity, that's why they don't get back up and they stumble and fail, because you thought everything was going to be easy. You wanted stuff to be easy and smooth. Then stuff ain't easy and smooth, you don't know what to do. So you begin to crumple. You know, like I said, right? Like I say, man, there's a lot of brew. They feel like, hey, if you got some people who feel like if you in the word, you got to be going through something. You got some people be like, well, if you going through something, you must be sinning. When that don't mean necessarily any of that on either scenario. You just might be kind of worthy to suffer for his name. Some people might not have to go, but everybody who gonna go through the word gonna suffer some manner of tribulation of some sort. Some worse than others. Let's go back to Acts though. The man told you, well, Paul wrote to us and told us if you suffer with him, you'll reign with him. I don't see how that gets overlooked, but clearly it does, quite a lot. The same told tell my man, like, you know, everybody be worrying about one West this and one. I ain't never seen nobody who had good dope worrying about somebody who was on the block with bad dope. Straight up. I don't care nothing about what this nigga doing. That nigga works trash. You know what I'm saying? So what I care for? Why am I concerned with a nigga? I know my dope good, but I'm worried about telling a nigga not to go buy some bad dope. Shoot, if you don't know good dope when you smoking it, clearly you don't need to be smoking. So keep on smoking on that trash. You made the choice. You know what it is. Some people can't take strong dope, man. That junk be messing them up. They be like, well, I need that water, man. I need something a little less stronger. I can't take that. Where we at, man? Verse 17 of Acts chapter 24. Now, after many years, I came to bring alms to my nation and offerings. Whereupon certain Yahudim from Asia found me purified in the temple, neither with multitude nor with tumult. So they told him, he told him, you found me clean in the temple. You ain't see me with a whole bunch of people, and we wasn't in there fighting. Who ought to have been here before thee and object if they had aught against me, or else that they same here say if they had been found any evil doing in me when I stood before the council, except it be for this one voice that I cried standing among them, touching the resurrection of the dead. I'm called in question by you this day. This is the main thing that they mocked him about. Because he was talking about the resurrection of the dead. That seems so far-fetched. But again, I'm going to show you something. Pause. John chapter 11. This is about a part about knowing who you are. If you know who you are and Yahuwah, then talking about the resurrection of the dead is not a far-fetched concept for you to discuss. And after this, Hosea chapter 13, baby. John chapter 11. Verse 17. Then when Yahushua came, he found them laid in the grave 4 days already. Now Bethany was nigh unto Jerusalem, about 15 furlongs off. Many of the Yahudim came to Mary and Martha and Mary to comfort them concerning their brother. Then Martha, as soon as she heard that Yahushua was coming, went and met him, but Mary sat still in the house. Then said Martha unto Yahushua, Lord, if thou had been here, my brother had not died. But I know that even now, whatsoever thou wilt ask of Elohim, Elohim will give it to thee. Yahushua said unto her, thy brother shall rise again. Martha said unto him, I know that he shall rise again in the resurrection of the last day. Yahushua said unto her, I am the resurrection and the life. He that believe in me, though he were dead, yet shall he live. And whosoever live and believe in me shall never die. Believe this. She said unto him, Yea, Lord, I believe that thou art the Mashiach, the son of Elohim, which should come into the world. When you actually and genuinely from the heart believe that this man is the son of Elohim, then you will attain the resurrection of the dead, which means that you would know you are son or daughter of Elohim. See, let's take an example of that in Galatians chapter 3, actually. You know, there's a multitude of reasons why people's faith is weak. About 3 and 22. One of them is you don't know who you are in the Lord, and you worry about the wrong things. You worry about your outward appearance. You worry about all the other stuff you got to do. You worry about this, that, there, and the third. So you're not diligent in your labor of what you got to do because you banded about the wrong things. And you can have all them things and bust hell wide open. And then bust hell wide open again because you're going to go to the grave incomplete. Because you worry about the wrong things. Like you can't be, and that ain't even just dealing with the word. You can't accomplish stuff when you worried about the wrong things. Same thing he told when Martha said, tell Mary to come in here and help me serve. He said, you cared about many things. But he said, but Mary done chose the best part, and that ain't going to be taken away from her. You telling her to come in here and serve. Oh, shalom, man. So don't say that. Oh, no. Nah, evil ain't got nothing to do why people faith weak. They ain't got nothing to do with it at all. You know what I'm saying? Because everybody evil before the word comes. So people, it's a multitude of reasons, man, why people don't believe what they're being told. As far as the text is concerned, most of the time it manifests in your behavior. You don't even know certain small parts of your behavior can show that your faith is weak. Not taking the word seriously and being diligent in what you're doing is an example that your faith is weak. Being concerned about other things other than your soul can show that your faith is weak because those things take precedent for you and they're more important. See, and it's bigger than just saying, oh, I'm going to read or this, that, there, and the third. It's just other stuff more important. Like I say, that's what he was telling Martha about Mary. See, you want her to come in here and help you serve. He said, but she done chose the best part. That ain't going to be taken away from her. So you were worried about serving. She was worried about the word. Like go on in there and fix them plates. Pretty much what he told her. I'll find it in a second, man. It's in Luke somewhere. 3 and 22. But the scripture had concluded all under sin, that the promise by faith of Yahushua HaMashiach might be given to them that believe. But before faith came, we were kept under Torah, shut up under faith, which should afterwards be revealed. Wherefore Torah was our schoolmaster to bring us unto Hamashiach, that we might be justified by faith. But after that faith is come, we are no longer under a schoolmaster, for you are the children of Elohim by faith in Yahushua HaMashiach. For as many as you have been immersed into Mashiach have put on Mashiach. There is neither Yahudim nor Greek, there's neither bond nor free, There's neither male nor female, for you're all one in Yahushua HaMashiach. And if you be Mashiachs, then you're Abraham's seed and heirs according to the promise. So when you look at that, that's the individual. When you look at Abraham, when you look at the faith of Mashiach, that's hearing the word and believing and moving on it. When you look at Abraham, he wasn't banded about all the stuff going on around him. He was focused completely on what Yah sent him to do. Let's take a look at something in Luke. Let me find that for you in Luke. I gotta find it. Let's go over here to Luke chapter 10, verse 38. Luke 10 and 38. Now it came to pass as they went, he entered into a certain village. A certain woman named Martha received him into her house. She had a sister called Mary, which also sat at Yahushua's feet and heard his word. But Martha was cumbered about, much serving, and came to him and said, Lord, does thou not care that my sister have left me to serve alone? Bid her therefore that she help me. Yahushua answered and said unto her, Martha, Martha, thou art careful and troubled about many things, but one thing is needful. Mary has chosen that good part, which shall not be taken away from her. And that's what I'm talking about. See, she said, look what he told her. You careful and troubled about many things. So you worrying about everything else except what you need to be worried about. Because it said Martha was doing what? Sitting right at his feet, getting that word. She wasn't concerned about all this other stuff you got going on. That's what you worried about. You worried about telling her to walk away from the word to come help you serve a plate. Let's look at it one more time, verse 40. Martha was cumbered about, much serving, and came to him and said, Lord, does thou not care that my sister have left me to serve alone? Bid her therefore that she help me. Look at what she stated. You don't care that I got to do this by myself? Yahushua answered and said unto her, Martha, Martha, thou art careful and troubled about many things, but one thing is needful. Mary have chosen that good part, which shall not be taken away from her. That's what ends up happening. A lot of us not choosing that good part, so it's getting taken away from you. How's it getting taken away from you? Revelation chapter 3. Little sugar baby, what you out here doing? Revelation 3 and 1. Well, I'll get both of them. And unto the Malachim of the house in Sardis write, these things saith he that hath the 7 ruachs of Elohim and the 7 stars. I know thy works, and thou hast a name, and thou live and art dead. Be watchful and strengthen the things which remain that are ready to die, for I have not found your works perfect before Elohim. Remember therefore how thou hast received and heard, and hold fast and repent. If therefore thou shalt not watch, I will come unto thee as a thief, and thou shalt not know what hour I will come upon thee. But hold on, let's go back over here to Revelation 2 and verse 4. So you know what he talking about? You done forgot what you got going on because you worried about everything else. Say, nevertheless, I have somewhat against thee, because thou hast left thy first love. Remember from whence thou art fallen, and repent and do the first works, or else I will come unto thee quickly and remove thy candlestick out of his place, except you repent. So you would need to turn. See, Mary, you can sit back and look at it, right? Mary, the same woman, washed his feet with her tears in her hair. No full well she worried about that best part. So we have to really look at what he told her at that particular time. Are you careful and troubled about many things? And what you careful and troubled about a lot of things for? Hold on. Matthew chapter 6. Because if you knew who you was in Yahuwah, you wouldn't be careful and troubled about many things. Therefore, you would have the courage and the boldness to do what you got to do. Matthew 6 and 24. No man can serve 2 masters, for he will hate the one and love the other, or else he will hold to the one and despise the other. You cannot serve Elohim and Mammon. Now, of course, he's talking about you can't serve money and Yah, but you can't sit back and serve your own desire in Yah, because one's going to take precedent. You careful and you trouble about many things, that's what's going to take precedent. And you treat Yah as a back burner. I do it when I do it. I show up when I show up. It don't really make no difference. And he going to show up when he feel like showing up. And just like I mentioned last night, you going to miss that call and you're not going to get up on time. You're going to miss that alarm because you don't take this seriously. You know what I'm saying? You think it's just a hangout thing or just something to do. You got to take this seriously because this is literally your life. I don't know how many times that has to be reiterated. This is literally your life. This ain't just something to do. If you feel like it's something to do, you should stay home. You know what I'm saying? Don't even log on to no stream and watch nothing. Just put the book down and stay home. If you're not going to take it seriously. Guess what? We take stuff in the world more seriously than we take our salvation. That don't make sense. Therefore, I say unto you, take no thought for your life, what you shall eat or what you shall drink, nor yet for your body, what you shall put on. Is not the life more than raiment, than meat, and the body raiment? And we ain't got to go no further because he told you don't take no thought for your life. This man already know what time it is. He already know what you need for you asking for it. He already know what it is. And guess what? Because Mary was more concerned about that best part. She could get a full thing. See, we run around here like Martha. Tell her to come help me. You don't care I got to do all this stuff by myself? So you worrying about the wrong thing. You were more worried about this over here than what you should have been worrying about over here. Now you mad with Mary because Mary was more concerned with this word. Because that's pretty much what he told her. And he wasn't disparaging Martha, but he would just let Martha know. You worry about this. Mary worry about this. Leave Mary alone. Because this is what Mary chose. You chose to fix plates. Mary chose to get this word. So now you want to be mad at Mary? Because you got to fix plates by yourself? Shoot, you could have been like, shoot, I'm finna come get this word. And after this word over with, then I'm going to fix a plate. And you have to look at that in every aspect in your life. Is you worrying about doing this over here and then going to get the word, or is you going to focus on the word and then this stuff over here? It'll make a major difference. It can accelerate your development if that's what your number one priority is. That's one of the reasons why like I just seen a brother today say there's no reason for any man, no Israelite man not to be married. I'm like, I don't know why you niggas think everybody need to be married. I don't know why y'all rushing everybody need to be married. A lot of these niggas need to be focusing on y'all and y'all alone and getting your mind right with that before you can even talk about dealing with a wife. You know what I'm saying? Because once that happens, you can't give full 100% effort to that. I don't care what you say out your mouth. You're not going to be able to do it. You're not going to be able to do it. And on the other side, dude be more concerned with the woman. Let that woman get more strengthened in that word before you talking about making a wife. Because after that, she can't focus on that 100%. She got to focus on you. Then if you start having children, you got to focus on that. Do you know what I'm saying? You had to. Like Paul made mention of that. And even if he didn't make mention of that, that just tell you that in life, period. I just seen a clip where a dude looked this old lady in the face. He said, you know what? I don't think we should be together no more. She said, why? He said, because I want to be great as far as being a musician. And he said, you're going to be a complete distraction. And he broke it down to a smoothly where she couldn't even get mad, but she did. He said, because you know what's going to happen? I'm not going to be able to make you a priority. Therefore, you're going to begin to resent me because I don't spend a lot of time with you because I'm focusing on this. And then I'm going to begin to resent you once you ask me to make you a priority over what I'm trying to do. So he said, it's better that I just leave you alone because he said, I'm trying to be great. I'm trying to be one of the greats. She said, you know for a fact that I would do this? He said, yes, I know this for a fact. Are you sure about this? He said, yes, I'm 100% sure. She was like, what the F is wrong with you? But in reality, he told the truth because for the majority of women in generality, you'll be cool if a dude doing something till you feel like you ain't getting a lot of time with him. And then you're going to start asking him to forsake what he doing to spend some time with you. And when he tell you that even when I'm with you, I'm thinking about what I'm working on. You know what I'm saying? You're going to be offended because you really want you want to be his number one priority. And you can't even fathom in your brain how something else could be a priority above you. You know what I'm saying? And it'd be a lot easier for you if you've been serving Yah and Yah was your number one priority for a good long season before you come in and be married to somebody. And it's a lot of dudes, boy, they not cut out for that. They not ready for that, especially not a lot of these young dudes. Then and this nigga was like, it's all these women, but they Christians and all. That junk ain't got nothing to do with nothing. You can't put that junk on just the women. A lot of these niggas be doing sour stuff and these women don't want to fool with you, nigga, because you be capping. You know what I'm saying? You're not really about what you represent. You saying you with the word, but your behavior say different. And then you want these women to run to that. When they catching stories from other women who in the word, and they like, you know what? I'll wait or I'll pass. You know what I'm saying? Or even some who will be like, shoot, I might as well marry a sinner based on how these niggas carrying and conducting themselves. Do you know what I'm saying? What's the difference? I'm getting the same thing. One nigga just proclaiming it and another's not. Do you know what I'm saying? But nigga don't see that there. You know what I'm saying? I done told you about it, and sitting back looking at it on that stuff I've been looking at, like a lot of the concepts they was on, I was on that when I was a kid. Like I wasn't finna put no woman a priority above what I was doing. I didn't care who she was. You know what I'm saying? I'll spend some time with you. But I mean, I used to mess with this one chick. She'd be like, you always on the clock. You always come trying to get this money. I can't get no money sitting up under you. I can't get that done. You know what I'm saying? And why would you want me to do that? So when I'm looking at you want me to do that, I know you're not the woman for me. Because it was a woman I dealt with before you that she ain't want me sitting up under her, if she knew I had something I needed to be doing. You know what I'm saying? What you over here with me for when you ain't finished this over here? You need to go over there and finish that. You know what I'm saying? I like that. I respect that. You know what I'm saying? I don't want nothing to do with no woman who want me to sacrifice what I'm doing to spend time with you to do what? Cuddle and talk about absolutely nothing. Don't you got something you need to be doing? I see you when I see you. I talk to you when I talk to you. That's how I felt when I was younger. I mean, I seen my homeboy, and he was like, boy, you ain't never been one to be worrying about no woman, boy. You was always about your money. I said, you know what? You're right. It's time to go back to that. You absolutely right. And there's nothing wrong with that. But that's a conversation two people got to have, and that they on the same page with that. You know what I'm saying? If you know you a person that wants somebody to be up under you on a regular basis, then you need to make sure you pick somebody that's what type of dude they is. Don't pick somebody who trying to handle some business, because they're not going to want to do that. They're not gonna want to do that. That's the same token the meme I picked the other day. Don't find a woman who got ambitions and try to make her a stay-at-home mom. Do you know what I'm saying? Pick a woman who want to stay at home. Do you know what I'm saying? Because guess what's gonna happen? You're gonna pick this woman who want to do stuff, and then she gonna resent you because she been doing something that she didn't want to do. You know what I'm saying? If you know that's what she on, that she want to start a business or work her way up the career ladder, then hey, man, don't pick her for your wife if you want a woman who going to stay at home and iron your drawers and cook your food. Yeah, don't do that. You know what I'm saying? That's what ends up happening. You choosing somebody because you want certain things done and you want this person to conform to what you want them to do. No, pick somebody that's in line with what it is that you desire. And if they're not in line with that, then don't try to force them into that. You know what I'm saying? I ain't never want to deal with no woman who wanted to sit at the house. Do you know what I'm saying? I would much rather that you have something going on for yourself to allow you to be your own person outside of me, outside of any children, because you need that as an individual. You know what I'm saying? You need that for yourself. If all your identity is wrapped up in housework and this, that, there, and the third, that could lead to a downward spiral that I don't want to contribute to. You know what I'm saying? Now, if you want to be a stay-at-home mom, and because you got some young girls, that's all they ever thought about. I want to stay at home. I want to take care of the house, and that's cool. That's not a woman for me, though. You know, I'm kind of cool on that. You know what I'm saying? I always had it in my mind younger that I wanted to generate enough revenue to where my old lady could do whatever she wanted to do. Do you know what I'm saying? You can run the business. You can have your own business. You want to take the kids and you can do whatever you want to do. You have that latitude and you have that freedom. You know what I'm saying? Some dudes want their wife to stay at home. Ain't nothing wrong with that. That's what you want. But don't try to put somebody in a box or something you don't want, because when you do that, that means you didn't know who you were. And if the person allows them to put them in that box, that means they didn't know who they were. Because you could have easily said, no, I'm not on that. I don't have a desire to do that, but I appreciate you asking. For real, though. That's the same token when you're dealing with the word. What a lot of people try to do. Ask you what organization you with, ask you what you believe, because they trying to, first thing the average brew at, what camp you a part of? Because once you say what organization you a part of, then they can place you in a box to be able to tell you what you believe and how you think and how you operate. That's how people operate. You don't want nobody to do you like that. Come on back to Acts chapter 24. Oh, that what you want, Lisa? You want him to you want him to make you his number one priority? What about you, Callie? I done experienced it. It was my first time experiencing it a couple years back. Like, yeah, that nigga really used to hit me on some old, you should drop everything you doing to come see about me if I call you by Sunday. I'm like, boy, unless that junk life or death, boy, you all right. For real though. But I think that coming, well, like the dude talking about it, and like I say, I'm older, so I can see it. I've seen it gradually over the last 25 some odd years, the attack on masculinity in this country. I can't speak for worldwide, but in this country, yeah, there's a gross attack on what it is to be a man. And it's not just feminizing people by putting skinny jeans on them, you know what I'm saying, or the feminized clothing that they wear, or dudes in videos, dressing like women, acting like women. Like, you got people trying to define, and the crazy part is you have women trying to define what it is to be a man. Then you got simps who are pandering to these same women, saying, yeah, that's what you ought to do. But when we look at what a type of man Hamashiach is, or was and is, he would be excoriated in these days and times. You know what I'm saying? He would be excoriated decently. He said he was an austere man. Do you know what austere means? Do you know what austere means? What about you? Austere means to be rigorously self-disciplined and uncompromising. Do you know what I'm saying? Rigorously self-disciplined and uncompromising. Yahushua was a very basically being a hard man. You know what I'm saying? A fair man, but a hard man. A man like that in these days and times, they would say they would say that's toxic masculinity, which is one of the most asinine terms I've ever heard in my life. Because how is being a man toxic? Why is being a masculine man a problem? Like I told you before, it's not that it's toxic masculinity, it's insecurity and overcompensation. You know what I'm saying? These aren't really men. They're not being masculine. They're really weak men who are overcompensating and what they feel like is the show of strength of masculinity. That's all that is. When you have a man that has to try to physically assert his dominance in a situation that don't call for it, that's overcompensation, and that's an insecurity welling up, and he don't know how to express that. So then he say, see, I'm a man. See, some people look at that's toxic masculinity. A man don't express himself. You can't say that that's toxic masculinity. That man may not know how to express himself. He never learned how to. But the reason I see the difference is, and it's rooted from feminism. You know what I'm saying? That I seen a white dude say this other day. He was like, a lady asked him, he was like, how can you just describe some women so well? He said, just remove logic and accountability. I said, boy, that was rough. You know what I'm saying? Because most women don't move by logic. And most women don't like accountability. You know what I'm saying? Especially white women. Especially white women. Shoot, if you've been around enough white men, you'll know. But white men just sit here, they dread their wives. You know what I'm saying? They wives got their nuts in a vice, and they hate life. Do you know what I'm saying? But we have to sit back and look at those things and not take them personally, and not say to make a sweeping indictment as if it's all men or if it's all women, but sit back and look at as a whole and in general, all these things occurring, and what can you do to make sure that you don't fall into those traps, or the individuals around you don't fall into those traps. No, it's good to understand human behavior, because understanding human behavior can give you insight into yourself, and not only yourself, but the others around you. And I've always been into that. I like to understand how people think and why they do the stuff that they do. It doesn't matter if I agree with it or not. Do you know what I'm saying? Like I told you before, if you understand how people think, you can help them better. If you can understand why people made decisions, you can help them better. If you ain't even trying to understand a person's thought process, you only gonna speak from the perspective of what you feel like somebody should have done or what you would have done, versus looking at it objectively and saying, okay, I see why you made that decision. That was dumb, but I see why you did that. I understand. This is a better way to go about that next time. Verse 22. Acts 24. And all that's coming into knowing who you are. Like all the stuff we were looking at as forth as being a man. What it was considered to be an olive man. And I'm going to read some of them traits again, like assertive and protective and courageous and sensitive and cooperative and self-sacrificing and ambitious and having the ability to be humble and learned and have a purpose and a hard worker and knowing who you are and not being a bully and being a man of value and being generous. And being stubborn. Being stubborn meaning in relation to your goals. No fear of failure and discipline and the ability to deal with problems and being marriage material and ability to inspire other people and being non-reactive, not having a need for validation and being honest and being dominant and independent and a risk taker and strong and having charisma and being competent and masculine. In this days and times, that type of man would be ridiculed. Do you know what I'm saying? Just for two of the things that was mentioned. And that's being assertive and being dominant. Like I got a homegirl, she don't want no weak man. And she'll tell you that. And if she recognizes you a weak man, she will walk all over you. She does not like weak men. She's not attracted to that. You know what I'm saying? A man who will let her talk to him, let her do whatever, talk to her any kind of way, she ain't on that. Huh? Kelly, you like weak men?
No.
Well, what you call a weak man?
Cause like my sister, she's like a person who, I don't know, like she act like a dude and she seems to attract like very weak men. So I would feel like a weak man is like somebody who lets you run over them, talk to them different ways.
Oh, your sister a masculine woman, huh?
Very.
She got a masculine. That's why she attract that, cause ain't no real man gonna put up with that. No man want no masculine woman. At that point, I might as well get a man.
Yeah, like she didn't want to be with a dude and like roll off with another dude. Like the dude that she was talking to, like
Oh,
that
my.
she stayed with in the house. And she like, all right, I'm be right back. And he just was like, Mom had to talk to him like a female, like you gotta want better for yourself. You gotta love yourself more.
Oh my. That ain't more about wanting better than yourself. That is more than you gotta shoot.
Yeah, like she was like you gotta love yourself more than that and let somebody do you like that.
I mean, that ain't talking to him like no female, cause sometimes shoot. Everybody need to be told that sometimes somebody doing you wrong. You gotta love yourself. You gotta respect yourself. Where's your dignity and self-respect, son? Well, she rolled off on a meat appointment and you knowed it. In your car. I'd be like, oh, you gonna walk? You gonna get you some meat? You better ride on that nigga bike. Horseback. What you better do. But you know, people only gonna do to you what you allow them to do. You like how you feel about weak men, Alicia? Because y'all the only women in the room.
I feel like a weak man, we gotta be on my level.
What's your level?
I can't take a person who I don't like guys who bully women. I feel like they're weak. I feel like
I agree.
yeah, I mean that's what you pick on because you can't pick on a nigga.
Yeah, a masculine man wouldn't bully anybody weaker than them. They wouldn't do that. But let me ask you this here. How you feel about a man putting you on a pedestal and worshiping the ground you walk on? How you feel about that?
Like, then you weak too because I'm not supposed to be first. I know I'm not supposed to be first.
But I'm asking that question because a lot of the dudes who I done seen, they talk about it, they be like, that's one of the reasons they don't want to mess with no woman because this woman wants you to put her on a pedestal and worship the ground that she walk on for you to get some butt. And they feel like, you know what, I don't want to do that. But then they were like, the women want you to treat them like that, but then when you do, they lose respect for you when you do it. I've seen that happen.
That's true.
I've seen that happen. Because they look at this nigga here. I can get this nigga to do whatever I want. Nigga be coming, I drink your bath water. I know I ain't finna do all that. I ain't finna do all that. But shoot, I done seen it though. A couple times in my lifetime. I just be wondering how y'all think about it, because I already know that, like, I can say like that the young lady I was talking about, I done seen that nigga in action. That nigga despises a weak man. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, and she'll let that be known. That nigga had just posted something out of her cussing a nigga out the other day. Like, nigga, stay in the year I left you in, nigga. She was like, that nigga say, you just run across my mind. I want that nigga say, F you and your mind. Nigga, don't call my phone no more. That nigga rough like that though, but that nigga the type that if you tell her to sit down and shut up, and she know that that's coming from a masculine, if you dominant like that, that nigga will sit down and do whatever you ask her to do with no hesitation or problem. She won't have no problem with it.
With the shut up or different words.
She don't care if her speaking for her, she ain't gonna get offended if you be like, man, shut up. She ain't gonna be offended by that. Everybody's different though. But she's not, I know this because I've done it to her. She's not gonna be offended. You know what I'm saying? She ain't gonna be offended if you tell her, like, I was like, at that time, I was only man who would tell her no. So I had her respect. Because niggas wouldn't tell her no when she asked for something. And I'd be like, no, I'm not doing that. She'd be like, what? I'm not doing that. You're not that pretty. You know what I'm saying? You ain't that fine, and I don't want to lay with you that bad. See, dudes do a lot of stuff as the fourth is the pedestal pushing and worshiping the ground you walk on for sex. See, they feel like if I tell her no or upset her, she won't lay with me. So then they put up with negative behavior from this woman because they want to have sex. Like I done told you this before, man. When I seen that punk on, remember College Hill? Some of y'all remember College Hill? I was watching the episode of that, and the punk were like, they were like, why this punk always telling these hoes about themselves? And he was like, nigga, I'm gay. You know what I'm saying? He was like, I don't want to have sex with you. So I don't have a problem telling you about yourself because I'm not losing anything. You know what I'm saying? But that's real talk. If you don't care, if you're not gonna have sex with this woman, then you will tell her the truth. Most dudes ain't never told y'all the truth because they want to have sex with you. You know what I'm saying? So they not gonna tell you what you need to hear because if I tell her that she gonna get mad, she don't give me no butt. Because like I heard a gentleman say the other day, regardless if dudes want to look at it or not, women do all the choosing. Nisha, I can't see that. Not while I'm streaming. You got to type that on here. Like, women do all the choosing. The only thing women don't do choosing on is getting married. Because the man got to choose that. But outside of that, the woman choose who she has sex with. She choose who she going to be with. A man don't have nothing to do with that. You know what I'm saying? So you have to look at all that. But like I say, these masculine traits that we talking about, that we can see in the script, Hamashiach would be vilified in this day and time. Like usually if a man dominate, what they say, that nigga's an a-hole. I don't like him. You know what I'm saying? If he's assertive, meaning he know what he want, he gonna state what he want, he not gonna let you walk over him. See, that's toxic. And that's because of this society. It's not endemic of everybody, but as a whole of the cultural narrative that's pushed in America, it's to demean masculinity to uphold feminism. So now you got a generation of people who are scared to be a man and are letting people who are not men, whether they're natural born men or women, define what it is to be a man. You know what I'm saying? You can see it all the time. Just look around you. You know what I'm saying? Whether it's cultural entertainment or whether how you see people navigate and move. Like how sometimes like this here people clown a dude for crying. It is not necessarily that if he cry, but you got some niggas that cry over everything. And they say, you know, there's nothing wrong with that. A man shouldn't be crying at the drop of a hat. You just crying at this point just to be crying. Do you know what I'm saying? Nigga, that's not masculine. That don't mean you don't never show no emotion, but good grief, man. Shoot, I'm being for real though. Would you like a nigga who cried all the time?
Is that a woman's trait to cry all the time?
Oh no, I mean you ain't got women who cry at any and everything. Women might be more inclined to cry because they're more emotional than a man is. So their emotions are gonna get, men's supposed to be logical, so their emotions don't necessarily get riled up at the drop of a dime. But I guarantee you, hold on. You not a man. You overcompensating. You overcompensating.
Because if your value is not based on words, I don't know, I guess you're talking about being a man in the word.
Yeah, I mean, even somebody who ain't in the word, if you being overly dominant or overly assertive, that's an insecurity there and you overcompensating. You know what I'm saying? You trying to exhibit something that, you're trying to portray yourself to be something that you're not. You're not really that dominant. So you're trying to put on like you are. You're not really that assertive. So you're trying to go above and beyond to show that you are when you're really not. It's no different. I'm telling you today. You got nigga going that chain gang and act like nigga they the hardest nigga. You know what I'm saying? And niggas know that nigga ain't gonna do nothing. Nigga can sit back and see he overcompensating. You're not a warrior like that. You know what I'm saying? And when you get put in a situation to get tested, it's gonna show. You know what I'm saying? It's just overcompensation. Like I said, especially when you young, you laden with insecurities. You know what I'm saying? I don't care what nobody say. You know what I'm saying? That's for every person on the earth, myself included. When you in your 20s, man, you probably insecure about 10, 15 different things. You know what I'm saying? And that's why in your 20s, you have a lot of overcompensation in the stuff that you're doing because you're insecure. People act like it's a dirty thing to be insecure. It's natural. It's a part of human development. All an insecure means is that you're not confident in certain areas. Everybody, you probably don't start shedding insecurities till you start hitting your 30s. Because by the time you hit your 30s, you begin to figure out who you are. Like you have a good, solid idea of who I am. So those insecurities kind of fade. Hold on. You got to be specific. What you were talking about? What you mean to do everything and bring nothing to the table? Oh yeah, you got a lot of women who feel like men just supposed to do whatever they want. But in reality, a real woman ain't gonna respect that though. She gonna look at him and she gonna move on. That's not the person she gonna choose to breed with. You know what I'm saying? She might entertain you like how dudes clown all the time. Like you got women who know that they can entertain 6, 7 different men to get free meals. You know what I'm saying? Know these dudes to take them out, do this here, do that there, do this here. They know this here. But that's probably not a dude that they're going to breed with. You know what I'm saying? This is not the man that I'm going to choose to start a family with. I'm like, I wouldn't marry this nigga. Like I said, who that was? That was you talking about? It was somebody telling me how all the women in their family dominate all the men that they be with. Oh, no, that was somebody else. That wasn't you. But your mama be doing that too, don't it? See, I couldn't live with that. You know what the book tell you about to do with a woman like that? Y'all know what the word say to do with an old contentious woman? You know what the word say you're supposed to do with a woman like that? Go sleep on the roof. Book say it better go sleep on the roof than deal with a woman like that. Woman who like to argue, contentious. Because when you being contentious, that means you like to fight. That means 9 times out of 10, when you liking to fight, the book say it better for you to sleep on the rooftop. For what? Oh, no. Oh, no. I'd have been out. You know what was funny? That men going your own way stuff. I heard one of the white boys say, you know what? Even the Bible teaches MGTOW. And I was tripping. Because to a certain extent it do. It definitely tell you not to. Because all MGTOW really is about is getting you a real woman. It's not talking about that you hate women. It's getting a real woman, a woman of value, a virtuous woman, a woman who going to add on to what you're doing. And a lot of these women don't bring nothing to the table but some vagina. And a bad mindset. Huh? She ain't got no good mindset throwing drinks on a nigga at McDonald's.
I mean, that's the crazy thing. They she married her after that. I was like, oh, geez.
I would have threw a drink right back on him.
No, when she threw that phone out the window on the I would have been done.
I don't even care nothing about that phone. You ain't finna embarrass me in public. Oh, you want to throw high C lemonade on me? Don't even worry about it. Because I'm finna come back with Dr. Pepper and throw that in your face.
No, she threw Dr. Pepper.
She threw Dr. Pepper? Well, shoot, nigga, I'm throwing Sprite. That junk ain't right, though. But guess what, though? In her mind, that's being a woman. And guess what? That's an insecurity, and you overcompensate for you to even behave that way. Ain't nothing to happen, because guess what? I don't care if you in the word or not. You supposed to know how to carry and conduct yourself in a reasonable fashion. You know what I'm saying? Usually when you see somebody being what like niggas like to say, being extra, they overcompensate. They overcompensate. It's not necessarily toxic anything. They just overcompensate. You know what I'm saying? Then you got people who undercompensate. Come on over here, Acts 24. But like I said, though, dealing with this tech, it's no different with the word, right? Let's just look at it from the word aspect. I put it to y'all like this here. Anybody on the stream can add on if they see fit. How many people y'all done seen go extra hard about the word? Like, boy, that nigga on fire for it. And fold. And fold. That's overcompensation. How I feel about a woman that's been online trending who was outside in the crowd swinging on a dude. Oh, no. No, I done knocked that hoe out. I knocked that hoe clean out. Clean out. I seen that video, that girl come up on that boy at that gas station punching him all in his face. She wouldn't have but 2 times to hit me and 3 strikes you out.
That's right.
3 strikes you out. I knocked that hoe clean out. You ain't finna be beating on me like that. Because guess what? The minute you want to put your hands on me like a man, that means that you must want to fight like a man. And that's exactly what I'm finna do. See, it's different on hitting a woman. You mad, you want to hit her. You ain't finna be walking up. I mean, my homeboy like, yeah, my old lady done threw an iron at me. See, I'm not on that. See, I'm finna leave you alone. Because I'm looking at it this way. If she beat that nigga up like that in public, what did she do to that nigga in private? I'm not with that. Because the first time you hit me, this going to be the... Matter of fact, truth be told, it would have never got that far because I would have cut that hoe off right there. Oh, you ain't finna hit me? Same way I tell a woman don't be with nobody who hit you, I ain't finna be with no woman who gonna hit me. I'm not finna sit around with that. Oh, she just crazy, bro. She sure is. I'm finna leave the crazy hoe right here. Because I ain't finna go to jail behind you because I'm finna beat you up. Man, you seen... I don't know if y'all seen that. Baby was decking this nigga like... Bum, 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 all in his face. I don't even care about the people around. If she beat him like that in public, what did she do to him in private? I seen a video of the dude, I'm still a man, because I didn't hit her. She done cut him all in his face. Punched him all in his face. He talking about he ain't hit her. Shoot, I'd have dropped that hoe. I seen the video today. They talking about the old bus driver when he knocked that lady out of Ohio. They talking about he shouldn't have hit her.
When he uppercut,
Shoot.
he like, you going to jail?
Who? The judge from divorce court say, hey, shoot. I ain't saying you ought to hit a woman, but shoot, you want to stand up like a man, you got to go down like one. And you know where that come from? Like I say, people like to say toxic masculinity, but you got some toxic femininity where you got women who feel like they can do anything to a man and the man can't do nothing. Oh, I'm a girl. He ain't supposed to hit me. Well, you say he's supposed to hit him. You can't be around here striking people and don't think they're going to hit you back. Then that girl on the bus, she spit in that man's face. You know, once you spit in somebody's face, all bets is off. That come down to one thing and one thing alone. Keep your hands to yourself. Matter of fact, not even keep them to yourself. Just keep them out away from your body. Don't put your hands on people. You man, male or female. Because same way a man ain't got no business hitting a woman, I don't care what that man did. That don't give you no license to hit him. When you feel like, oh, he cheated on me, I'm going to punch him. I seen a dude, he said, if I caught my old lady cheating on me in my house, he said, you know what I would do? He said, I'll tell the dude. He said, hey, man, it's all good, brother. There's some wet wipes in the bathroom, you know, clean yourself up. Because that's what the most person be want to do. You want to beat the person who they were cheating with. For what? They didn't owe no law. They didn't do nothing wrong. That's the nigga who wrong. That nigga over there, the nigga you was with. And all I'm going to do is I'm going to pack your stuff up and you can go. Or I'm going to go. Because one thing about it, I ain't finna go to jail about that. Nigga want to kill a nigga or beat him up. Now you in jail. She still throwing that booty around. Nah, sir. Or now you want to jump on the man and beat him up. For what? I'm hurt. Shoot, now you going to jail. Get what? And that's all. And get what? He's still going to be out here hoeing while you sitting in the jailhouse, waiting on somebody to bond you out. You know what I'm saying? You can't, and that's just going by letting your emotions rule you. See, like I say, man, that overcompensation comes from you letting your emotions dictate and rule you. We supposed to be godly people. So pause. Come over here to Romans chapter 8. I know I said something else, but. And again, this knowing who you is. Now, I'm just mentioning certain stuff, because there's certain stuff I done looked at in the last couple of days or seen. But yeah, baby who was beating dude up at the gas station, man, I would have super karate kicked her right in the stomach. Bam! Leave me alone. Just leave me alone. And then at that point, if in all seriousness though, if you feel like you got to do that to somebody you with, you need to leave them alone. You need to leave them alone. That ain't somebody you need to be with. Leave them alone. You want to chase it, you want to follow this person around, come up to the gas station, and embarrass them in front of a whole bunch of people. And for what? One baby was built like a military tank. You know what I'm talking about? Shoot, she wore. Baby definitely looked like a husky linebacker. You know what I'm talking about? Sex can't be that good. I just had somebody tell me that the other day. They say like, oh, my baby daddy done got another hoe pregnant. I'm like, word. You already knew he was cheating on you. We just gonna take a break to figure some things out. What you need to figure out, he been cheating on you. So either you gonna be stupid or you gonna leave him alone. You know why? Because we don't want to believe the stuff that be in our face. You don't want to believe it. You don't want to believe this nigga don't care about you.
Oh, that's the one.
Yeah. Because I straight up asked her, like, shoot. I said, that nigga must be laying it down decent then. You standing around putting up, it ain't that serious. His thing small, it ain't that good. It got to be something because you staying around. You staying around. That nigga got to be doing something. Because where your self-respect at? You got to keep your self-respect. Always. Romans chapter 8, man, verse 4. Once you lose your dignity and self-respect, what you got? That the righteousness of Torah might be fulfilled in us who walk not after the flesh, but after the Ruach. For they that are after the flesh do mind the things of the flesh, but they that are after the Ruach, the things of the Ruach. Why is this important? Because if you mind your flesh is after your emotions. If you mind the things that are after your emotions, then you're going to go and do the things that are after your emotions. And your emotions are going to lead you to sin every time. For to be carnally minded is death, but to be spiritually minded is life and shalom. So you sit back, and when you spiritually minded, you know who you are. Which means if you in the word, this is male or female, because we just read it. Ain't no bond or free. Now, ain't no woman going to be dominant, like dominant over no man, but she going to be dominant in her space as forth as that she going to know who she is and what she's about and what her mission is. You know what I'm saying? In regards to her household, if she married, or in regards to what she doing if she's not married. A woman's going to be assertive. She's going to be courageous. She's going to be sensitive. She's going to be self-sacrificed. When you read about the virtuous woman, it says she had ambition because she seen a field and purchased it and went and tilled it. You're going to see this as a woman who is educated, who has a purpose, who going to know how to treat a man, who going to be a woman of value, who's going to be generous, who's going to be disciplined. Like, I'm waiting for somebody to tell me what are the negative in these attributes, because I don't see any negative in any of those attributes. Inspire people. It said that about the virtuous woman, too, that she inspired people. Come on, Mike. Where we was at? Acts 24. I see a lot of stuff. This world crazy, man. Real life crazy. And it's just people mindset because they carnal. You know, you just seen in New York, they passed an abortion law that say you can kill a baby all the way up till it's born. Like real late term abortion. Like, no, they talking about this one here like 20 minutes before they push them out. Like all the way up to the last hour. So they had late term abortions, but they ain't never had it this late. And this only in New York State. They just passed that law this week. You can get an abortion if you want it. But you know, it's always funny that the people who believe in that, and I ain't never believed in no abortion. I remember my homegirl, she did a dude like that. She was pregnant, and he seen her popping an aspirin, and he was like, you pregnant, you ain't supposed to be taking no. And then he put two and two together. She went and got an abortion, didn't tell him. I said, well, you's a dirty nigga. You know what I'm saying? I said, boy, you couldn't have been. That's why I don't trust you hoes now. Like, you know what I'm saying? Well, you gonna get you abort a nigga baby, don't tell him. That's a dirty move, though. But it's funny how women say it's my body, but what about that baby, though? That's his body. I guess you just said F his body. You know what I'm saying? You got women out here who vaginas literal graveyards. I wish I was being funny, but I'm not. I know some chicks that done had 5 or 6. That's a lot of babies, man. 5, 6 abortions. Your vagina is a graveyard. Nigga hitting her, wondering why they got spooks and demons following them. That's a haunted vagina. Oh, I said, I don't know if no, if I didn't answer that, I definitely would hit that hoe in her mouth, though. No, she just, I said, if that, I would hit that hoe dead in her mouth. If I ain't finna let no man beat on me, I ain't finna let no woman do it. There's a difference, she mushing you. Baby was assaulting this man. I'm not going for that. But like I said, though, that would have been cut off from the jump street because I'd have been left. I love myself too much to let somebody disrespect me like that. You finna be putting your hands on me. Because I ain't putting my hands on you. It's different if I'm hitting you. Then you got all right and authority to throw hands whenever you get ready. You know what I'm talking about? But if I ain't putting my hands on you, please don't. I always felt like that. Don't call me out my name. You know what I'm saying? I remember what that was, man. Before I went to prison, me and Marie were riding. That nigga used to, like, that's just how she talked. She called me the B word. I said, hold on. I said, don't talk to me like that. Don't call me that. She said, that's just how I talk. So you know what I did? I proceeded to call her that like 30 times in a row, like every other word. Bam. I said, you ain't like that, did you? She was like, nah, so don't call me that no more, because I don't call you out your name. Don't disrespect me like that. And she ain't never do it again. You know what I'm saying? I didn't want to take it to that extreme, but I wanted you to feel that there, because I've never called you out your name and disrespected you. Do not call me out my name and disrespect me. I don't care how you talk. You need to talk like that with somebody else. Don't talk like that with me. I'm not with that. You know what I'm saying? Of course, I went overboard with it, but I had to drive my point home. You know what I'm saying? Don't call me out my name. Because you didn't like it when I called you out your name. So don't call me out my name. That's just how I feel, though. I'm going to give you the respect that you're due as a human being. So do not disrespect me. Because I will not disrespect you. You know what I'm saying? And that's it. I mean, calling somebody out their name and putting your hands on them. Like, if this your old lady, what you disrespecting her for? What you cussing her out for? What you putting your hands on her for? That don't make no sense. So I feel like that in the reverse. If I'm your dude, what you cussing me out for? What you putting your hands on me for unsolicited? That doesn't make any sense. Not to me, anyway. I can't speak for nobody else. Acts 24 and 23. Everybody else different, but I ain't on that. Mordecai. And he commanded the centurion to keep Paul and let him have a liberty, that he should forbid none of his acquaintance to minister to come unto him. After certain days, when Felix came with his wife Drusilla, which was a Jewess, he sent for Paul and heard him concerning the faith of Hamashiach. Listen what he said. And as he reasoned of righteousness, temperance, and judgment to come, Felix trembled, answered, go thy way for this time, and when I have a convenient season, I will call for you. See, when Felix heard that day, he got a little nervous. But let's look at some of the things that he heard. Temperance, judgment, and righteousness. When we look at temperance, we're looking at discipline. We already talked about that discipline. You can't call yourself a man and you undisciplined. Undisciplined in your thoughts, undisciplined with your emotions, undisciplined with your words, undisciplined with your actions. You can't call yourself with a man. Man can be able to discipline himself. Just because something look good or feel good don't mean that's what you ought to do. That means you mind the things of the flesh and you carnally minded. If we talk about a godly man, even if you're not a godly man, you should be able to discipline yourself. You should be able to control yourself. Then when he's looking at righteousness, we talked about righteousness last night. What is righteousness, sir? What is that? What is righteousness according to this word? Faith, period. And then when you're looking at judgment, the judgment, when does it come? What is the judgment? That there'll be a resurrection of the just and the unjust. Why would you think Felix trembled and answered, go your way? He's scared. Because when he heard that, he didn't know how to take that. Now, I'll tell you, some people can't take that straight, though. That man preached the gospel to him. You heard what he said. He heard him concerning the faith in the Mashiach. That's what he hit him with. Notice what he was preaching to him. While he locked up. He hoped also that money should be given him of Paul, that he might loose him. Wherefore he sent for him the oftener and communed with him. But after 2 years, Porcius Festus came into Felix's room. Felix, willing to show the Yahudim a pleasure, left Paul bound. So at the end of the day, he heard what being preached, but he rather pleased the Jews. So he let him stay locked up. Let's keep on going to verse 25, because, you know, Paul's story long. When you're talking about being courageous and bold in bonds, his story long when it comes to that. Now, when Festus was coming to the province after 3 days, they ascended to Caesarea to Jerusalem. Then the high priest and the chief of the Yahudim informed against Paul and besought him, desired favor against him, that he would send for him to Jerusalem, lying in wait in the way to kill him. Festus answered that Paul should be kept at Caesarea, and that afterwards he should depart shortly hither. Let them therefore, said he, which among you are able, go down with me and accuse this man, if there be any wickedness in him. Now they sitting back talking about if you could accuse him to find any wickedness in him. That's the same thing Pilate said about Yahushua, don't find no wickedness in this man, right? So when we look at something, right, again, is you talking about the hallmark of being a man and the fruits thereof. Let's take a pause for the cause and come over here to John chapter 12. Mordecai, you over there being fresh. And you're cheesing with it too. Yeah, you being fresh. Yeah, I see you over there cheesing, Mordecai. John 12 and 22. Mm-hmm. Being fresh. You know, I say, man, when you look at the word, when you begin to keep the testimony of Yahushua and the commandments of Elohim in that time, that's what they're going to persecute you for, because you're going to be a man like him. And when you a man like him, it's going to be a problem. Could we say that? Can we definitely say that Yahushua was a dominant man? He was a dominant man. Being dominant is not a negative thing. It just he commanded presence when he walked in a room. You know what I'm saying? Or he commanded presence when he opened his mouth. You know what I'm saying? To the point where these men were not secure in their own skin and what they had going on, he going to draw people away after him. We got to kill him because they were weak men. All this man trying to do is the same thing y'all say y'all on, which is saving souls. If y'all was on the same type of time that I'm on, you wouldn't be offended at my dominance in the least bit. We could be, I remember being locked up. A man from Tallahassee, man, I can't remember his name. But a dude came to us and was like, which one of y'all two the smartest? Nigga, what? I'm like, why does it have to be a competition? Why does one man, if you looking at us as you say that you perceive that these are two dominantly intelligent men, why they can't exist in the same space without it being a problem? Why do black people have to look at it that two people who you perceive to be in a dominant space can't exist together in the same place, that it has to be a competition that one has to consume the other? That don't make no sense. That come along to the terms when Mashiach told his apostles, they say, hey man, they don't walk with us. He said, man, if they with us, they can't be against us. Leave them alone. You know what I'm saying? Or the same token that when, and that's a part of humility, the same token when Moses was in the wilderness and they came at Moses and he said, Yahushua son of Nun, say, man, they prophesying in the camp. And he said, I would to Elohim that all y'all's people be prophets and that his Ruach be on them. I'm not, what's the word I'm looking for? I'm not threatened by this fact. You know what I'm saying? See, when you're a weak man, when you're not a man, you're going to be threatened by another man. Do you know what I'm saying? If you're a man and you're secure in your manhood, then another man entering the room is not going to be a threat to you because he's going to stand on the validity of his manhood. You're going to stand on the validity of your manhood, and y'all should be able to coexist and come together and do something if you so choose. But what do we see a lot of dudes be doing? They threatened by other men. So if you threatened by another man, I mean, you're not a man. You're masquerading as one. Don't make no sense. And when you look at the scribes and Pharisees, they were threatened by Yahushua. 12 and 22, John. Philip come and tell again Andrew, and again Andrew and Philip tell Yahushua. Yahushua answered them, the hour is come that the Son of Man should be esteemed. Truly I say unto you, except the corn of wheat fall into the ground and die, it abide alone. But if it die, it bring forth much fruit. So when we're looking at this man dying alone and it brings forth this fruit, it brings forth the courageousness and boldness because of the trust you have, because you know you're going to raise from the dead, but it's also going to allow you to know who you are. Now, we know the fruits of the Ruach, right? So if you got faith in Elohim, what's some of the things that you would say go along with that? When you say, okay, because remember the word batak for bold means to have trust, confidence, or to be secure in. So if you have faith, what it is, because if we looking at faith is we looking at that these fruits allow you to know who you are. Yahushua knew who he was. So if you have faith in Elohim, how does that relate to knowing who you are? What can you draw from that which allows you to know who you are? No, not confidence is not going to allow you to know who you are, because the confidence is the byproduct of your faith. That's all I want to. And put it to you this way. When you have faith in Elohim and you know who you are, then you know what he's promised you. What are some of the things that he's promised you besides eternal life? I knew that was going to happen. Huh? He ain't never promised you that. But he ain't promised you that. That's not one of his promises.
In the kingdom?
He never promised you're going to see your loved ones again. He never promised anybody that.
Hey, boy.
One of the promises that we focusing on. No, she said, I know I see him again at the resurrection of the last day. Their confidence is that they were going to resurrect from the dead. That's because she had confidence that she, you know what I'm saying?
She was my brother.
Yeah, but that's not the point of seeing. He didn't promise, but he didn't promise her that. He said, she said, I know I'll see him again at the resurrection. She was reaffirming that they knew there was a promise of a resurrection. But that he never promised you that you were going to see your loved ones. That's not a promise that he made to anyone.
That wasn't what he promised.
But she just know that she'll see him.
But it's not because she's seeing him. She confident that he going to resurrect from the dead and I'm going to resurrect from the dead.
Confident that he wasn't going to heaven. That's
Period.
Not that he promised her that he wasn't going to heaven.
But I thought we was going to, well, from my side, I thought we was going to know each other.
Yeah, but that's you missing the point. When that story, when he come up, she said, I know if you would have been here, he wouldn't have died. He was like, you'll see your brother again. She said, I know I'll see him again. She didn't know he was finna resurrect him right then when he said, you'll see your brother again. She said, I know I'll see him again at the resurrection of the last day. So from her statement, she was confident that he was going to resurrect and I'm going to resurrect because we both believe that you're the Son of God and we keep your word. So because I know who you are, that means I know who I am in you. That means that faith that I have in the promise, which the main promise is that resurrection of the dead. See, we say eternal life, but the promise is to resurrect from the dead. A lot of people don't focus on that. They only talk about what? The kingdom, the kingdom. But most of us probably not even going to be alive when that man cracked the sky. You're going to be in the grave. So you got to believe that he's going to resurrect you from the dead. What Paul said, y'all calling me into question because I'm talking about resurrecting from the dead. It's 2019 if you talk about, Christian people don't talk about resurrecting from the dead. Hebrews don't talk about resurrecting from the dead because that is a foreign concept because they don't believe it. See, they'll point at a Christian and say, see, they believe you going to heaven when you die. But you don't hear, how many Hebrews you hear regularly talking about resurrecting from the dead? Not at all, because they don't believe it. Because that's something you ain't ever seen. He said, I know you won't suffer your conscience one to see corruption. And people don't believe that. When you look at the gospel, what is the two main tenets that Yahushua preached and the apostles preached? You see the main thing they preach, Hamashiach and the resurrection of the dead. That's all they ever talked about. Because that's what the gospel is. You got to remember, how many people ever, and I called for Hosea 14 or 13, we didn't get around that to it. Get this Hosea 13. J Bird. Yeah, you phony. Don't try to turn your head. I know you phony. There's nothing wrong with J Bird. Little young bird. No, it's 14. Is it 14? and 13. J Bird. J Bird. Eugene. Oh yeah, I seen a little picture of him when he was legit. Yeah, that nigga look like his pappy. That nigga put a baby picture up of himself the other day. Huh? Barely. Shoot. More like spitting. I can't deny the baby photograph. It was like that was Hezekiah in the photograph. If you ain't know no better, you would have thought it was him. Except you would have seen that's not his mama. Shoot, you ain't got to get upset. The man does got half of his chromosomes. You think you put them 46 chromosomes together by yourself? 13 and 13. Make it 12. Make it 10. Or make it 9. He said, "O Yasharal, thou hast destroyed thyself, but in me is thy help." See, again, this is where you begin to know who you are because you know where your help lies at, I should say. Because without Yahushua, what do you have? Pause. 1 Corinthians 15. and 12. You know, I think I've always talked about the resurrection of the dead because it's paramount. You got to believe that. You got to, because if you believe he rose Yahushua from the dead, then you believe Yahushua going to raise you from the dead. If you don't believe he rose from the dead, then I know you're not going to believe he going to raise you. Like I told you, I forgot I was walking in the store. That hit my head like, you know what that junk going to be like? You just going to wake up like somebody wake you up out your sleep? You know what I'm saying? You ain't going to know that your flesh been reanimated. Like it said in Ezekiel, I'm going to put your tendons and your bones back together. Y'all know how y'all done felt somebody starting you up out your sleep? What's going on? Is that what it's going to be like? What the casket going to do? You just going to come? Because you know them all them things about zombies was a way for them to mock that. They mocking the resurrection of the dead with zombies. That's one of the reasons I utterly refuse to watch any movie with that in it or television show, period.
What you were saying about the casket? Like, people that's in the casket, like...
I just wonder how it's going to open. I don't know. Sure.
Yeah, I was thinking about that too.
I don't think it's going to be a hard thing.
6 feet under.
Shoot, man, look here, man. If this man can make a man from dust, make a virgin have a baby, I think opening the casket 6 feet underground is a light thing to do. Ain't nothing but I'm trying to tell you. Shoot, this man told the stars, hang yourself right there. And they hung. I think it ain't going to be hard to them. Dirt, move. We out of here. We out of here. But for real, though, the stuff with zombies.
For the bones for the people that passed away a long time ago, are they bones like still...
I mean, I can't speak on that. I ain't never digged in no grave. I can't speak on what happened to somebody's body after they been dead for a long time. But all I can say is probably bones in the ground. But I can't speak on that. All I know is them crackers be mocking that junk. Talking about zombies eating brains. You see niggas coming about the grave raising their hand. They come out undead creatures. That's mocking the resurrection of the dead. Yeah, you just sitting there watching it for entertainment. I mean, a lot of stuff you got to look at. Now, of course, you know you dealing with the word. There's some stuff we probably shouldn't watch. Some stuff you have to be discerning. Like, you know what? I got to draw the line right here. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, nigga used to watch Family Guy because that cracker got a real wild sense of humor. But he mocked the Lord so much, I can't watch this. I can't do it. But you know what I'm saying? I can't do it. I'm straight. Because he do it to a lot. They do it a lot. You know what I'm saying? Because that's how they feel. And then if you say is this show really worth it to see somebody mock your people? That's your people he mocking. And we just going to look, hey, it's funny though. No, I'm straight. I'm straight. Because guess what? He ain't just disrespecting Yah. He ain't just disrespecting Yahushua. He disrespecting you because you say that's your people. This man said that Yah made the world by taking a lighter and farting. Literally put that on there. Then he say, look at this. Let me show you this here. Bent over, put a lighter by his butt, farted while the lighter was lit, and that's how the universe was created. You know what I'm saying? They had one where he had Jesus come down here. He was a rock star and a cocaine addict and a drunk. You know what I'm saying? But it's a lot of stuff. They feel like you believe in fairy tales and you stupid for. You heard my man this morning, right? I dare one of you. He said, because he know me. He know I'm not gonna play no game with you. But if you want me to go back and forth with you for the validity of this book, I'm not finna do that with you. If you don't believe it's valid, so be it. I'm not finna argue with you about that. You got it. You know what I'm saying? Garfield ain't no bad dude, but that's what he owned. 15 and 11, 1 Corinthians. Therefore, whether it were I or they, so we preach, and so you believed. Now, if a Mashiach be preached that he rose from the dead, how say some among you that there's no resurrection of the dead? If there be no resurrection of the dead, then is a Mashiach not risen? And if a Mashiach be not risen, then is our preaching vain and your faith. So you see what the point is? He said, if we saying this man ain't resurrected from the dead, our preaching is for nothing. Our faith is for nothing. That's our hope. That he rose from the dead. And if he rose from the dead, then your hope is that you're going to what? Raise from the dead. Yea, we are also found false witnesses of Elohim, because we have testified of Elohim that he raised up a Mashiach, whom he raised not up, if so be that the dead raised not. For if the dead rise not, then it's not a Mashiach raised, and if a Mashiach be not raised, your faith is vain, and ye are yet in your sins. Then also which are fallen asleep in the Mashiach are perished. If in this life only we have hope in the Mashiach, we are all men most miserable. Come on back to Jose. See, when you know that you're going to resurrect from the dead, then you know who you are in a Mashiach. And if you know who you are, then you know what you would know that you are. You know that you're a son or daughter of the living Elohim. This is what you know. 13 and 10, because we got to look at how do we destroy ourselves? Through unbelief and disobedience. Verse 10. I will be thy king. Where is any other that may save thee in all thy cities, and thy judges of whom thou said, give me a king and princes? So Yahushua said, y'all asked for one, I'm going to be your king. I gave thee a king in my anger, and I took him away in my wrath.
Here, question. And John, after he guess I think they was feeding the loaves. They were trying to make him king, and he said he disappeared a little bit. You know what I'm talking about? It's like in John 6.
It wasn't, I mean, they went to make him king. It wasn't time, so he slid. Slid on out the way. They seen him work a couple miracles. They said, oh, we're going to make this nigga king. He said, no, you're not. I'm going to slide on out the way. Verse 12. The iniquity of Ephraim is bound up. His sin is hid. The sorrows of a travailing woman shall come upon him. He's an unwise son. For that he should not stay in the place of breaking forth of children. I will ransom them from the power of the grave. I will redeem them from death. O death, I will be thy plagues. O grave, I will be thy destruction. Repentance shall be hid from my eyes. So, let's go to Romans chapter 6. Six and 19. Romans 6 and 19. I speak after the manner of men, because of the infirmity of your flesh. For as you yielded members servants to uncleanliness and iniquity unto iniquity, even so now yield your members servants to righteousness unto Kadash. For when you were servants of sin, you were free from righteousness. What fruit had ye then in those things, whereof you are now ashamed? For the end of those things is death. But now being made free from sin and become servants to Elohim, you have your fruit unto Kadash, and the end everlasting life. So now that you know who you are, you know that you have the faith, the gentleness, the goodness, the meekness, the shalom, the self-control, the long-suffering, and all the things that are attached to that. You know that you're a son or daughter of Elohim. And if you're a son or daughter of Elohim, that means you would have power to rule with him, correct? That you would have authority with him. And then when you know who you are, this is one of the reasons why he didn't need validation from the people. He said, you say I blaspheme because I said I'm the son of God? He said, who Abba has sanctified and sent into the world? I know who I am. Remember we read it last night, right? He said, you don't know where I'm going, and where I'm going, you can't go. That's because I know who I am. I'm the son of God. I know I'm going to sit back at the right hand of my Father. I don't need your validation. How many of y'all deal with the word, in times you dealt with the word and you felt like you needed to be validated by the people around you? You know what a good, strong example of you feel like you need to be validated? When you run up on any and everybody with the word. Because then you feel like if they accept it in their turn, that validates the word and validates you. You know what I'm saying? The word don't need no validation. The word validates itself. You ever met somebody that was that confident that they didn't need to be validated by another person? Their validation came from themselves. And if your validation comes from Yahushua HaMashiach, then he validates you. You don't need validation from other people. Who validated Yahushua? Let's look and see. I got to finish verse 23. For the wages of sin is death, but the gift of Elohim is eternal life through Yahushua HaMashiach, our master. Let's look at John 5 and 30. Let's look who validated it. The way he knew who he was, confidence in who he was, that he could be bold and courageous in speaking that truth. John 5 and 30. Listen to what he tells him. I can of my own self do nothing. As I hear, I judge, and my judgment is just, because I seek not my own will, but the will of Abba which sent me. So who is he? Who's validating him? His Father is validating him. Look what else he said. If I bear witness of myself, my witness is not true. There's another that bear witness of me, and I know that the witness which he witnessed of me is true. You sit under John, and he bear witness unto the truth. But I receive not testimony from man, but these things I say, that you might be saved. He was a burning and shining light, and you were willing for a season to rejoice in his light. But I have greater witness than that of John. For the works which the Father hath given me to finish, the same works that I do bear witness of me that the Father hath sent me. And the Father himself which hath sent me hath bore witness of me. You neither heard his voice at any time nor seen his shape. You have not his word abiding in you, for whom he hath sent, him you believe not. Search the scriptures, for in them you think you have eternal life, and they are they which testify of me. So who was validating him? So he didn't have no need to be validated by any of them people around him. You know how bold you got to be to look a group of people in the face and say, nigga, I don't need your validation. I know who I am. I know who sent me. I know what he sent me for. The works that he gave me to do, bear witness that he sent me. And I know that word ain't in you because you don't believe the person he sent. You know what I'm saying? What do dudes get mad? They don't want to receive this truth. Man, leave them people alone, man. Clearly the word ain't in them. What you mad for? I don't see no reason to be mad. John chapter 8. 8 and 12. You know, one of the hallmarks about being a man, as you can see, is supreme confidence. And if you got faith in Yahuwah, by Hashem Yahushua, you should have supreme confidence. Then spake Yahushua again unto them, saying, I am the light of the world. He that follow me shall not walk in darkness, but shall have the light of life. Let's look at it, right? Because we talking about not being validated, knowing who you are, and being bold and courageous. Look what he told him. Look what the Pharisees. The Pharisees therefore said unto him, thou bear record of thyself. Thy record is not true. Yahushua answered and said unto them, though I bear record of myself, yet my record is true. For I know whence I came and where I go. But you cannot tell where I come and where I go. Now, for you to look and tell somebody I know where I'm going, let's just sit back and look at it in a natural sense. Y'all done heard that phrase before, right? If you don't know where you're going, where you been, you ain't gonna know where you're going. He told him, I know where I come from and I know where I'm going. So I don't need your validation. If you know where you come from and you know where you're going, that means you know who you are. And that means you're comfortable in your own skin. That's what I was telling y'all like last night. Like, I know what I can do. I know what I can't do. I know what I'm strong at. I know what I'm weak at. I'm comfortable with that. You know what I'm saying? Somebody is not going to shame. Like somebody said, oh, you can't work with your hands. So what? You think that I'm gonna allow you to make me feel like less of a man because you said that? No, I don't. Never have. You know what I'm saying? That's not a skill set that I possess. Somebody tried to make me feel bad about, you a man, you supposed to figure it out. My mom and auntie told me if I ain't know what I was doing to ask for help and say I don't know what I'm doing. A man ain't supposed to do that. I don't know who, I wasn't raised that way. You're not going to make me feel less than, see, I always remember what Scarface said in the song. He said, am I any less of a man because I don't work with my hands? Don't nobody look at somebody big, nobody look at Jeff Bezos and say he less than a man. That man don't work with his hands. This man worth hundreds of billions of dollars. Was anybody looking at Robert Johnson and saying he was less of a man when he was building up BET? Probably not. But that's coming from people trying to push their version of what they feel like you should be. And if you're not comfortable with who you are, then you're going to allow that person to dictate how you feel about yourself. And I'm not going to allow anyone to do me like that. Do you know what I'm saying? I remember one time what it was, man. My nail was out there changing the oil on the Monte Carlo. Dude walked past, you supposed to be up under there doing that. I said, what make you believe that? Nigga, I don't know how to change no oil. Shoot, she said her daddy taught her to change some oil. I ain't had no daddy, so where I was going to learn that from? But you a man, I don't care what you say, nigga. I'm not ashamed in the least bit. She wanted to get up here and change her oil. I'm not going to get up under this car and act like I know how to do something I don't know how to do. You know what I'm saying? So I can feel like a man? Surely won't. That's how you get injured and you tear stuff up. You know what I'm talking about? Because you want to try to prove to somebody that you a man and you can do something that you know you can't do. You know you don't have the skill set to do this. You know what I'm saying? Let me show you I'm a man and get up into here. I'll figure it out. Now I done tore the whole engine up. Do you know what I'm saying? And this ain't even my car. You want to tear your own car up, that's your prerogative. This ain't my car. Nigga definitely was looking at me crazy. How you don't know how to change oil? I say, nigga, do you know how to change oil, nigga? No, then how you coming at me about this here? How many average everyday dudes know how to get up under a car and change oil? I would probably say about 55, 60%. Because where you going to learn that skill at? Somebody got to teach you that. Do you know what I'm saying? You usually going to learn that from probably about, well, you would have learned it in three spaces. They used to teach that back in the days in school. They used to have auto shop and body shop. That was a long time ago. That junk was gone by the time I got to high school. They did have wood shop. But some schools, they had auto shop. So you would go in class and you would learn how to fix a car. Do you know what I'm saying? You either had somebody in your family that was a mechanic or your daddy taught you. You know what I'm saying? I remember dude, when I was in prison, dude said, you don't know how to use a weed eater? I said, no, nigga, I ain't never used one before. What make you think I was using a weed eater on the street? Do I look like a landscaping nigga to you? Nigga, I lived in apartment complexes. What I'm weed eating for? Nigga, I ain't pushed a lawnmower since 1986. But that's how niggas was coming. Nigga, like, how you don't know how to use a weed eater? Nigga, that's you niggas going back and forth to prison cutting grass. You know what I'm saying? Nigga, I ain't never lived like that. I ain't never had to do that before. So why would I know? But nigga tried to make me feel bad about myself because I said, I don't know how to use this. I don't know how to start this. What the average dude do? They gonna try to figure it out on that. I ain't got no problem with it. I don't know how to do that. I don't know how to use that. I've never used that before. Because I'm confident in who I am. You're not going to make me feel less than a man because of your viewpoint of what you feel like I should know and should know. Then you got some men that dumb as a box of rocks. You got some dudes, they can fix cars, but they can't run a business. Do you know what I'm saying? What's the difference? Shoot, if you want a mechanic, go marry a mechanic. Shoot, I'm going to pay a nigga to do it. That's how I feel. I don't have time for that. I don't want to do it. You know what I'm talking about? There's a lot of stuff people do that they don't want to do. They pay somebody else to do. Guess what, right? A woman could do her own hair, right? Wouldn't y'all say a woman could do her own hair? Why pay a hairdresser to do it when you could do your own hair? But what do a lot of people do? Don't they pay a hairdresser? Can't you learn how to do your own nails? Why pay somebody else to do it? You can make your own clothes. Why buy somebody else's? Why go out to eat when you could cook at the house every day? I mean, where does it stop? Does an individual make a woman feel less than a woman because she decided she wanted to eat out instead of cook? Oh, you out here eating out. You must can't cook. You ain't no real woman. Shoot, nigga, I didn't feel like it this evening. I felt like this here tonight, and that's what I'm eating. That don't make you any less of a woman. Now, it's different if you do it every night. At that particular point, now you're just being lazy and wasteful in your spending. I mean, it's a lot more expensive to eat out than it is to cook at the house. That's a lot of disposable income that get flushed down the drain.
Depending on what it is.
I mean, over time, there's no comparison in that. Eating out is way more expensive than buying food and cooking because you
I
can.
ain't talking about that. I'm talking about what if a woman feel like she don't desire to want to know how to cook.
You got some women out here who don't want to know how to cook.
She want to just eat sandwiches and cereal.
Well, I can say one thing: 99.9% of the time, she probably not gonna get a husband.
I'm just saying.
I know Lil Muffet ain't know how to cook. When she got married, she decided to learn. Same thing with my cousin.
I'm just saying, so like, you saying what like, you want to work with your hands, but this is, you have a desire to do it, man. What you want to do, that's cool, but
I don't, and I'm not.
I'm just saying, so at the same time, if that's what people looking for,
Then that's what you need to stick with. But if they lacking in, but see, if they lacking in all the, you got a nigga who can work with his hand, but he dumb as a box of rocks. Is that an even trade off?
I want you talking about something.
No, I'm just saying but I'm just saying though, because what it is, and it's just like this here, what I done heard dudes say, like, a woman want a man to check off all these boxes, right? That he can be intelligent, that he can be industrious, that he can work with his hands, that he sling a good meat, that he can cook, that he can clean, and he can do this, that, and the third. And all the man want a woman to do is be understanding, be quiet, and cook a meal from time to time. And clean the house. You know what I'm saying? Because you have to sit back and look at it in the time we live in. We don't live off the land no more. You know what I'm saying? Then you have to look at, if a dude's an entrepreneur, 99.9% of the time, he ain't working with his hands unless he do that type of work in his business. Most business people, I'm a businessman, so why would I be doing that? Because I got bigger things to do. I don't have time to do that. You know what I'm saying? You ain't gonna have the time if you really run this thing, you ain't gonna have the time to do it. If you really running the business and you in it and you making moves, you're not gonna have the time to do that.
What you said is true. I just said it's true. What it is, because you desire to learn it, you learn it, and you know it. Yeah, you don't have to do it, but you feel me?
But see,
you know how to do it, you know how to do it.
But then that's looking at is I can spend time doing this over here. That's taking away time from this over here. I'd rather spend my time over here doing this than spend my time over here doing that. Because that's what it really come down to is time. You know what I'm saying? What you gonna invest your time into. But really it's more so of not letting allow another person to define who you are. You know what I'm saying? Because I done had several times. So you said the only thing that nigga know how to do is roll a blunt. I don't even smoke weed no more, baby. You know what I'm saying? Nigga, I don't care nothing about planting no vegetables. Nigga, I don't want to be a farmer. You know what I'm saying? I ain't mad at nobody who do. That ain't nothing I ever desired to do. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to till no land and be growing watermelons, my nigga. That's not something I want to do. Period. And if that's what you want, then you better go find you an old McDonald nigga. That's all I can tell you. Because I'm not finna be the nigga out there doing it. Because for me, it ain't no money in it. You know what I'm saying? And I don't have no passion for it. So, you know, you got to have a real live passion to get up there and till some ground and grow some crops every day. You know what I'm saying? You know how dedicated you got to be a farmer? That's a lot of hard work. And the work ain't the issue. I don't want to be the nigga at the farmer's market. Tomatoes, lettuce. I don't want to do that. Then you got some people, they don't want to run businesses. Hey man, I want to get me a nice job and work there 30 years and retire and get a pension. Some people want to be a police officer. I wouldn't want to be a police officer. Nigga, they get little pay and their life in danger every day. I definitely wouldn't want to be the ambulance driver. You got to see death every day. But I was just watching a video with a dude in the morgue. This man's got to touch dead bodies every day. Cut niggas' heads open and cut their chests open and deal with death every day. I wouldn't want to do that. Somebody got to do it, though. I know full well when he come home, the last thing he want to do is touch anything, touching dead bodies every day. I seen a dude on there, they had him, man, he had a bulletproof vest on, he still died. You know that bulletproof vest ain't stopping no chopper. That junk will stop at 9, maybe a 4.5. That Teflon ain't stopping no AK-47. You need some body armor. You ain't stopping that big stuff. You know what I'm saying? But no, I always say, shoot, just like they said. Now, one thing I will say, though, you know how some women be like, they dress half naked? They be like, that doesn't mean I'm a whore. Yeah, but that's probably how you're going to be judged. It's probably how you're going to be judged. You know what I'm saying? You put on a whore's uniform, you're probably going to get judged as a whore. Same way these niggas be wearing these little behind clothes and niggas judging for being faggots, do they not? But know who you are in your own skin and be comfortable in your own skin. 8 and what? 14. That's really what it is, just being comfortable in your own skin. And if a person can't accept you for who you are, then that's not somebody you want to be around or deal with anyway. Yahushua answered and said unto them, though I bear record of myself, my record is true, for I know where I come and where I go, but you cannot tell where I come and where I go. You judge after the flesh, I judge no man. And yet if I judge, my judgment is true, for I am not alone, but I and the Father that have sent me. It is also written in your Torah that the testimony of 2 men is true. I am one that bear witness of myself, and the Father that sent me bear witness of me. Then they said unto him, where is thy Father? Yahushua answered, you neither know me nor my Father. If you had known me, you should have known my Father also. See, that's something I know who I am. Remember what he told Philip in John 14? If you seen me, you seen who else? You seen my Father also. And if you seen my Father also, then you seen what type of man he is. He's gentle, he's good, he forgives transgression and iniquity. He knows who, like these people came to Hamashiach and called him Beelzebub, right? But look at what his response was. His response was what? Your children cast out devils, let them be the judge. He said, if I cast out devils by Beelzebub, then the kingdom divided against itself. And the kingdom divided against itself can't stand. Because he didn't even get offended or angry that they called him Beelzebub. He was comfortable in who he was, and he could just give it to him straight, because I know who I am. I know who I am. That's part about being a man, knowing who you are and not letting anyone else impress upon you who they think you should be or who they want you to be. You have to accept me for who I am. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of like how DMX put it, if we're going to be dogs and you choose that, then you stuck with that. You know what I'm saying? If I'm going to be your friend, then then don't take me as your friend if it's certain things, I don't like that. Or don't pick somebody as a mate and you be like, I want them to be like this. Because you know what I'm saying? I done dealt with some women in my youth that they want you to dress a particular type of way. They want to craft you and make you how they want you to be. No, you need to go find a man like that, who dresses like that or does things like this. Because that's not me. And I'm not conforming myself to you to be with you. Because at that point, I'm losing myself. So like when we talked about last week about being in the world, being with sinners coming to entice you, these people are trying to get you to conform to be something different than what you are. You know what I'm saying? And you can't go along with that. See, get that Romans 12:1 real quick. See, you can't, and again, I go back to when we were talking about last week about being a man of value. In order to be a man of value, you have to have values. And you have to know what your values are. And if you can't, like a thing I put out there, if you can't explain your stance to where a 6-year-old can understand it, then you don't really understand the subject matter. If you can't sit down to where one of these small children can understand what your values are, then you don't know what your values are. You don't hold in it. Because anything that you are involved with, you should be able to explain in a very rudimentary manner, to where it's easy for anyone to grasp it and understand what you're talking about. Now imagine if Yahushua let them people impress upon him what they felt like he should have been doing. Nobody would have got healed. Do you know what I'm saying? That lady who they caught in adultery would have got stoned. He wouldn't have died. And he would have I guess I am a Beelzebub. They said it. You know what I'm saying? I know who I am. I know where I come from. I know where I'm going. I know what my work is here for. I know who bear witness of me. I know what he sent me here to do. I don't need your validation. And I'm bold enough to tell you this to your face. You know what I'm saying? I know who I am. I can say firmly that I've been rooted in who I am since I was about 21 years old. Like, yes, I know who I am. And I'm good with that. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's no cap. Like I remember my homeboy was like, oh, man, you selling dope to impress such and such. I'm like, man, this girl don't even want me selling no dope. Nigga, why would I be selling dope to impress a chick? How lame is that? You know what I'm saying? But that's how because you're not confident and secure with yourself that you would feel like you would do something to impress another person that could put your life or freedom at risk. I didn't do this for her. Nigga, I wouldn't dare do that for her. For a woman? Nigga, that's dumb. You know what I'm saying? Like, straight up. Dudes came at me with a lot of stuff. Bro, why you? I'm not on that. Why you don't go to the club? I'm not on that. Why? I'm not on that. That's not who I am. I don't vibe like that. I don't rock like that. Man, you could be knocking all these hoes down. I'm not on that. I know who I am. I'm cool with that. I'm not trying to be who you want me to be. I'm not trying to be who society say I should be. I'm not trying to be nobody but me. And you can like me, you can love me, or you can hate me. I could care less, but you gonna respect me. I don't care if you're not my friend. I don't care if we never talk. I don't care if you're not attracted to me. I do not care. You know what I'm saying? I'm not gonna be somebody else for you. You know what I'm saying? For what? Now I'm walking around hating myself on the inside because I'm pretending. Why pretend? Just be your authentic self. And the people who love you will accept you for that. If not, they don't really love you and ain't no nobody you should be dealing with anyway. So then when you deal with you saying that Yahusha is the real son of Elohim, you seeking his ruach in you, then you shouldn't need no validation from nobody. I know who I am in the Lord. I thought that was your homeboy, Mark. You ain't gonna show him no love? Guess not. 12-1 Romans. I'm finna get ready to let y'all slide on that. Get up off the ground, Eugene. Clearly you feeling better, Eugene. I beseech you there, huh? He ain't acting. Shoot, that nigga look like he feeling all right. That mean he wasn't too sick then. He said, I might have a little bit of snot. Little snot ain't never stopped nobody. And he said, what that mean? I'm a soldier. I don't want to sleep. That nigga said, that junk don't do nothing to me. I got a nice diaper on. That diaper be that pad. Shoot, flick that nigga in the back of his head. Nah, you might break your finger. Them niggas' heads be hard at this age. No. You think that people's skull be hard all the way around the board, but they seem to be harder when they look. I don't know why that's the case. I beseech you, therefore, brethren, by the mercies of Elohim, that you present your bodies, Romans 12:1, your bodies as a living sacrifice, Kadash, acceptable unto Elohim, which is your reasonable service. And be not conformed to this world, but be you transformed by the renewing of your mind, that you may prove what is that good and acceptable and perfect will of Elohim. See, when he's telling you not to be conformed, then that means you showing the perfect will of Yahuwah when you don't conform, but you renew your mind or being born again by proving out his perfect will. That's why when somebody come to you, some of y'all done had it just on the minor scale. Oh, why you don't? And it be the stupid stuff they come at you with too. Why you don't keep Christmas no more? What? But get what though? Nigga get mad at you for not keeping Christmas, but if you were laid up in the house with a nigga blowing your back out and y'all wasn't married, they wouldn't have nothing to say. Oh, what y'all want to get married for? You know what I'm saying? Like, is you that backwards? You know what I'm saying? All they want to focus on is why you don't eat shrimp no more. Why you can't come to the house for Thanksgiving. That's all you worry about. So you ain't concerned with, I don't tell no lies, or I deal justly, righteously, and mercifully, and compassionately. You know what I'm saying? That I give honor to whom honor is due. Oh, you can't come to the family function because it's your Sabbath, huh? Like, what? So basically you want, well, what is that doing? That's trying to get you to conform to their viewpoint and image of who they feel like you should be. And because I was never a conformist, I never wanted to fit in. I never wanted to be accepted. I didn't care. You know what I'm saying? I didn't care about, I was a different dope boy. I'd be on the block reading books. Them niggas like, this nigga's weird. You know what I'm saying? But this is who I am. Because I sell drugs, I'm supposed to be ignorant and don't read? Nigga, I read before I sold drugs. I'm going to read while I sell drugs, and I'm probably going to read after I don't sell them anymore. But I'm just using that example. People have a viewpoint of what they feel like somebody who sells drugs acts and thinks. I've met some people who were very, very intelligent men who sold drugs. They just happened to, it was a business for them. It wasn't no This the thing to do. This the cool thing to do. I met some dudes who were stone cold killers, who some of the most intelligent people you ever want to come across. I met some dudes who were stone cold killers that were dumb as a box of rocks. You know what I'm saying? I was locked up with a dude. He got hit with a home invasion going to nigga garage stealing the lawnmower. Nigga was a killer. Nigga was a fighter, but he smoked rocks and he was dumb as a rock. Wasn't a very intelligent man. Do you know what I'm saying? But the thing that I don't never do with anybody is have a viewpoint of who you are. You are who you are. You know, you can always move to better yourself, but at your fundamental core, you are who you are. Don't try to change nobody, man. Accept them for who they are. When you look at Yahusha only trying to change your sinful nature. He's not trying to change who you fundamentally are as an individual. He just told you to renew your mind so you could change your sinful nature. But at the root of who you are, that's who you are. If you're a jovial individual who likes to crack jokes and smile and laugh, then being in the word is not. You got people who get in the word to feel like you can't laugh no more. You can't do this or do that. You can't get fresh. If that's what you hear, like, so we done talked about that before. Nigga get in the word, start looking like crackheads, like hobos. These niggas stop shaving. They clothes start looking dingy. Huh? You remember your man them telling you don't bathe? What? Where'd that come from? Like, where'd that come from? But what is that doing? That's another individual viewpoint of how they say in Hebrew should act, correct? And guess what you doing? You going along with it because you're not secure with who you are. So you gonna do that because that's what they say you ought to do. Nah, cuz I'm gonna wash my body, cuz I like buying clothes and I'm gonna keep doing that. I like going to the barber. I think I'm gonna continue that. Do you know what I'm saying? I think I'm gonna continue that. You got some dudes like, you shouldn't go to the gym, it's pagan. I'm gonna be at the gym. I'm gonna be at the weight room, cuz. They don't call it a gym no more. They call it a fitness center. That wouldn't be it. For real, you got dudes who do that. You got dudes that feel like you can't do nothing. What y'all laughing for? Ain't nothing to be laughing. And quote a verse out of Ecclesiastes about it. Man, get out of here, bro. Get out of here, man. You gotta be who you are. Don't let because you get in the word don't mean you can't be who you are. You think them people just walking around mad all the time? With the screw face? We gotta preach this truth, brother. Get this truth out here. Shoot, them people had good times. Cook food, sang, dance. I don't know if they told jokes or not, but it seemed like they was having a good time anytime they was together. How you fellowshipping with people and you don't have a good time? Everybody just in the mat. Read that verse again, brother. Come on, man. You got dudes walking around here act like they quote scripture 24/7, 365. Ain't nobody doing that. And if niggas say they is, they lying. Well, the last thing that we were dealing with in that Daniel, Ezekiel 28, was being wiser than Daniel. And how that wisdom got him riches. And what are those riches? Let's look at it in Proverbs chapter 8. One thing about it, man, when you love yourself, you don't care what nobody think about you. 8:17. When you know yourself, can't nobody tell you nothing about yourself. How many of y'all done been in a situation where somebody came and tried to tell somebody you knew about you and they ain't believe it because they knew that wasn't consistent with who you were? You never had that happen. You done had that happen before, Darius? What about you, sir? Any of y'all got something you want to add to that? I can think of a couple times. I remember a nigga tried to tell a nigga I was smoking rods. Nigga was like, boy, I know that nigga. That nigga won't let you smoke a boonk in the car. You know what I'm saying? But that's somebody who know you and know your character. You know what I'm saying? When you were looking at Yahusha, what did these people always try to do? Assassinate his character with people who really didn't know him. This is why the people were that's why the scribes and Pharisees had a large contingent of people ready to say, crucify him, because like he said, Kadash, Father, the world have not known thee, and they haven't known me either, because if they would have known me, they would have known you. But you know what ended up happening? It's the same thing what we did in the wilderness. What did we do in the wilderness during the time of us coming up out of Egypt? What is the egregious error that we made? That was one of them, but we're looking for another. That golden calf. And what did they try to make that golden calf be? They tried to put the attributes of Yah on that golden calf to make Yah be like this calf. To let me impute on something to be something that is not. You know what I'm saying? And I'm mentioning that because that's what they were doing with Mashiach. They wanted to make him be something make him be what they wanted him to be. Make him be the Savior and Redeemer that they wanted him to be, versus the Savior and Redeemer that he was sent to be. I love them that love me, and those that seek me early shall find me. Riches and honor are with me, yea, durable riches and righteousness. My fruit is better than gold, yea, than fine gold, and my revenue than choice silver. I lead in the way of righteousness in the midst of the path of judgment, that I might cause those that love me to inherit substance, and I will fill their treasures. So, what's the substance that you would inherit? What are some of these things that you would inherit? If he say he got riches, his understanding and wisdom allowed him to make himself feel like he was equal with God, and he got all this stuff, what is it that he had? What is these riches that he's bequeathing unto you? You got fruits of the Spirit, but we going past that. What's some of the things that he bequeathing unto you to fill your substance up? Because key thing we looking at, he said, I will cause those that love me to inherit substance. That to a certain extent, but we going past that. Remember, he said, he that overcome shall be my Elohim. I shall be my son, and I shall be his Elohim, and he will inherit all things. So what is this substance that you're going to inherit? The land, the kingdom. This man told you will rule over the nations with a rod of iron. This man say you inherit the morning star. This man say he'll give you a hidden stone with a name written in it that no man know except the person who he gave it to. This man say you inherit the tree of life. Yeah, let's go and look at some of this stuff that these part of the promises that you're going to get for resurrecting from the dead, which would give you the courage and boldness to speak. Then you would know who you are. Then you wouldn't need your validation, knowing your validation comes from your Elohim because you trusted in him. Remember, he said, this is Yahuwah our God. We have waited for him. We've waited for him. And we'll end it in these things. 2 and 7, Revelation 2 and 7. You know, we periodically got to go back into some of this stuff that he promised us. He that have an ear, let him hear what the Ruach saith unto the synagogues. To him that overcome will I give to eat of the tree of life, which is in the midst of the paradise of Elohim. So not only is he going to give you the tree of life, and if you eat of the tree of life, what else you going to get? Eternal life. When he told him when he said we got to hide the tree of life so he don't eat from it, what did he say that what would happen if they ate from that tree? Not only, they was already like him. He said they would live forever. Let's look at it. Genesis 3. Let's look at it. Let's just take a look at it. Let's make sure we got it correct and we don't misquote the man. 3 and 19. In the sweat of thy face, stop. Genesis 3 and 19. Eugene, stop being fresh. In the sweat of thy face shalt thou eat bread till thou return unto the ground. For out as it was thou taken, for dust thou art, and dust thou shalt return. And Adam called his wife's name Eve, because she was the mother of all living. Unto Adam also and to his wife did Yahuwah make coats of skins and clothed them. And Yahuwah Elohim said, behold, the man is become as one of us to know good and evil. And now lest he put forth his hand, take also of the tree of life and eat and live forever. So remember, they became like, what caused him to become like one of them? That tree, the first tree that they ate from. So now if they eat from the tree of life, you're going to live forever. So now if you got right to the tree of life in the midst of the paradise of Elohim that he'll give you to eat, then what's going to happen when you eat from that? You're going to live forever. And what did he say? He would make the garden, he would make Jerusalem like the Garden of Eden. So let's look at the next thing that he promised. 2 and 11. He that have an ear, let him hear what the Ruach saith unto the synagogues. He that overcome shall not be hurt of the second death. Remember, we already read that. He ransomed you from the power of the grave. He said, if we don't have hope in the resurrection of the dead, we men most miserable. What he said in the first resurrection, what was going to happen? In Revelation 20, he talked about the first resurrection. What did he say about that? Now, let's look at it. Revelation 20. Eugene and little Shirley. 20 and 4. Shirley Caesar. Revelation 20 and 4. And I saw thrones, and they that sat upon them, and judgment was given unto them. Remember what he said that got Felix all nervous when he was talking about judgment, temperance, and righteousness. And I saw the souls of them that were beheaded for the witness of Yahushua. What were they beheaded for? So what you think? And so that take boldness and courage. See, I was going to hit something else this afternoon that slipped my mind. That's what I talked to Akish about last night. But y'all willing, I continue courage Wednesday and hit it. And it was with them two witnesses and a scripture in Isaiah that bear witness to them. Because they had to have courage. Because they were bearing witness that all these people were evil and that judgment would come. And to stand in front of the land and tell these people about themselves. Notice that they get beheaded because they were witnessing that we the Israelites? No, that's not what it said. And for the word of Elohim, and which not worship the beast, neither his image, neither received his mark upon their forehead or in their hands. And they lived and reigned with a Mashiach 1,000 years. But the rest of the dead lived not again until the 1,000 years were finished. This is the first resurrection. Baruch the Kadash is he that have part in the first resurrection. On such the second death have no power. But they shall be priests of Elohim and of Mashiach, and shall reign 1,000 years. So, when we read in John 5 that he says some will come to the resurrection of life and some to the resurrection of damnation. Or as Daniel put it, some to the resurrection of life and some to utter shame and contempt. So you don't want to get up on that second go around. I'm trying to tell you, you don't want to miss the call. You don't want to miss that call. 2 and 17. Because you miss that call, that's going to be ugly. He that have an ear, let him hear what the Ruach saith unto the synagogues. To him that overcome will I give to eat of the hidden manna, and will give him a white stone, and a stone a new name written, which no man knows saving he that receive it. Notice that every time he said it's going to he that overcome. 2 and 26. And we talk about overcoming. And overcoming is the boldness and courage to stand up for the word. In the world you shall have tribulation, but be of good cheer. I've overcome the world. Who is he that overcome the world? But he that believe that Yahushua is the son of Elohim. This is the victory, even our faith. How did he overcome the world? By resurrecting from the dead. And he that overcome and keep my works unto the end. Notice he said you overcome and do what? Keep it to the end. Him will I give power over the nations. He'll rule them with a rod of iron. As vessels of the potter they shall be broken to shivers. Even as I received of my Father. And I will give him the morning star. Revelation 3 and 5. He that overcome, the same shall be clothed in white raiment. And I will not blot out his name out of the book of life, but I will confess his name before my Father and before his Malachim. 3 and 12. Him that overcome will I make a pillar in the temple of my Elohim, and he shall go no more out. And I will write upon him the name of my Elohim, and the name of the city of my Elohim, which is New Jerusalem, coming down out of Shamahim from my Elohim, and I will write upon him my new name. So now he done promised you a dwelling place in his house. Not to mention a white robe. Remember he told Job, he told you I put on righteousness as a robe. And that he'll confess your name. If he confessing your name, that goes back to what we were talking about last week, your name written in heaven. I know who you are. And lastly, 3 and 20. Behold, I stand at the door and knock. If any man hear my voice and open the door, I will come in and I will sup with him and he with me. To him that overcome will I grant to sit with me in my throne, even as I also overcame and sat down with my Abba in his throne. So if you sit in his throne, what would that make you? Make you a son, it also make you a king. And why would it make you a king? Because Yasharal means what? You have power to rule with Elohim. All because, remember, he that overcome will inherit all things. He said, I will cause mine to inherit substance. And you're inheriting this substance because you know who you are. You're courageous and bold, and you don't need validation from any other person other than the person who came to redeem you. So, hallelujah for Yahushua, the word. Bless everybody at the house, y'all. In the name of Yahushua. I appreciate everybody's time. You know, we'll still be continuing down this road, probably shift gears a little bit and either hit that 1 Corinthians 13 or 1 Corinthians 14. But in regards to showing yourself as a man, it's more so just character traits. All the stuff you're looking at, they're character traits. And once you have those character traits, that leads to confidence. And that's your confidence in your God. You can't begin to show yourself a man until you have confidence in your God. Once you have confidence in your God, then you can begin to manifest and show yourself as a man. Until that point, you'll never be able to do so. You'll do just like what we were talking about. You're going to overcompensate. Just like I've told y'all before with that example. Every one of us has seen people who seemed like they was going extra hard for the word. But they didn't trust in their God, so they were overcompensating. Because they were really seeking validation from men and the people around them. That's why he said, how can you believe that seek honor one from another and not the honor that comes from Elohim only? Why you want to be validated by this man? Why you don't want to be validated by your God? That's what we run into. So most high willing, we pick it up on Wednesday. Do it again. I think not what? Is it next week? Oh yeah, next week. Yeah, brother Derek and GP them gonna shoot down here, man. I sure hope this not out my chest. Well, that's gonna be ugly getting in that cold water. Yeah, it's supposed to be. But most high willing, it wouldn't matter if it was warm. That water still gonna be cold. Shoot, I'm gonna have a towel ready. Shoot, it wasn't cold that day at that beach, but boy, that water was frigid. Might have well been cold, but most high willing.